Drivers, start your engines!
Be plenty of carnage, so full head on them, wound up. Yeehaw, boys. Holy. It's a junkyard. There's too much time hitting people. Chill a second. No gas, gotta hang off here. Don't overdrive. Just let me do my job 10 times. I don't care if I wreck the whole field. I'm over him. He's just a moron. That was an absolute bull. Not clear. Awesome. I tell you, Mama ain't raised no. What the f*** are you doing out here? People are saying, just racing like idiots. I don't care. Just let me drive. What is he doing? This is embarrassing. What a clown show.
Did you ever think you would see that?
How the f*** did that just happen? Holy cow, baby, let's go!
You know, I got a song in my head. You guys got a song in your head? Goes, oh, I just died in your arms tonight, and then something like that. Yeah, right. I don't know.
With matching Cubs hats, we all look like bobbleheads right there.
We got to do
bobbleheads.
I thought you were gonna sing, "Hey Chicago, what do you say?
The Cubs are going to win today."
All right, I've had this on for about 60 seconds. That is enough. 60 seconds. We're taking that off. The bit has been bitted. Not sorry, Cubby fans.
Well, welcome on into NWP. There's actually plenty to talk about. It just, you know, it's actually the race ended a lot closer to the start of the show than it usually does, ending on Monday morning. And there's plenty from the race, from the finish itself to drama in the middle of it, of who works with who and different people sparking incidents. We got headlines between the super speedway package, reckless speculation, different expansion plans that NASCAR has. Hell, Danny even has an update coming up on the Kentucky Speedway. We dug deep for everything this
Eyewitness news, courtesy of Danny B Talks.
Yes. But let's start with Atlanta. Now let's just start right away with the winner of the race. Ryan Blaney with, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, now granted, of course, it's like, 260 laps. The most laps led in a super speedway style drafting race ever for a win. I think he led 171 laps out of the 263. Pretty damn dominant. And I don't know about you guys, but it didn't feel as dominant as the numbers panned out. He had to earn this win throughout the night. What do you think, Eric?
I would agree. I mean, the first stage was dominant because with the sun out, hotter temperatures, slick racetrack, and now wearing racetrack, we saw the three Penske Fords sort of break away from the field for a bit. Now, eventually, Logano, Cindric, they got swallowed up by the Larsons and Reddicks and other guys who were able to eventually make inroads. But as long as that 12 car was out front, he was very difficult to pass. I thought it was fascinating how about midway through this race, maybe 2/3 of the way through, strategy pinned the Penske guys like outside the top 10 on a restart, and none of them really went forward. Ryan Blaney included. His car was trimmed out to be in clean air, and if he was in clean air, he was going to be tough to beat. But I also thought it was interesting how, as per usual, Ryan Blaney separated himself from his teammates in that regard because, you know, Logano and Cindric, once they faded outside the top 5, top 10, we didn't really see them again. They still got decent finishes, but obviously they didn't lead anywhere near the laps Ryan Blaney did. Just another weekend where Ryan Blaney put Ford on his back, and at a track Ford's good at, he was actually able to win and hold off those Toyotas. So not just a great race. One of the best performances we've seen at a drafting track maybe ever.
And Dan, what was your takeaway from Penske, but in particular Blaney and what he put on display?
Well, they all looked really good this weekend. Penske as a whole. Joey Logano was refreshing to see back up towards the front again, looking kind of like his olden days, if you will. Unc still got it. I don't know. Crazy calling him Unc. He's only like 8 years older than I am. So no, but for real, Ryan Blaney, refreshing as a whole. Seeing him even up there because Yeah, he's been he's been top 5 in the standings all year, but it's been the most quiet top 5 season you could possibly imagine. This is only his 4th top 5 of the season, and we're
Yep.
how far into the year? I mean, so yeah, great to see if he is going to get a top 5. Half a chance it's going to be a win at this point, I guess. So, it's really good to see him getting the win here. But a lot of other good guys up here. Seeing Ty Gibbs finish 4th in this one. Well, I guess it originally was it's still top 5, but the Bubba situation, we'll get into that, kind of helped to elevate a little bit more to 4th. But Ty Gibbs says a name that he didn't do well in the first few super speedways of the year. This is one of those tracks that you didn't know how it was going to go for him, because I think honestly, did he crash out in the spring? I can't recall on Ty. I know he didn't have a great finish. So a lot of those tracks really helped tie down his average finish this year. Pardon the pun there. I didn't mean for that to happen. But no, I mean, I think we saw some names we're used to seeing at some of these, and a few, refreshing names. SVG getting the 6th place in this one. I picked the wrong Austin Dillon up there in 7th place. Hill was up there for a little bit to start, but didn't get the finish that they were hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, I thought overall this. I mean, I'm going to ask the question, race of the year? I mean, I know it's still 16 races to go, but that was really, really damn good.
It didn't really have a signature moment that we're all going to, I mean, unless you count Hocevar singing on the radio and then the team playing the music back at him, unless you count that moment, which was memorable, and I think will be on YouTube compilations as long as YouTube exists, probably. But aside from that, it didn't really have a moment that'll make you go replay over and over and over again. I think, though, from start to finish, I do think I agree with you, Jarrett. I think this was the most complete, most entertaining all-around race. If not for that 3-hour delay in the middle, it would have really packed the perfect punch, I think, for a Sunday night. But I mean, what you gonna do?
I don't know if I put this one in race of the year, but it's definitely gonna be up there in my top 3. If I had to go race of the year so far, Hocevar's win at Talladega is up there for me. But I'd also put San Diego in there. Corey Heim winning it with a pretty good overall battle with Reddick there at the end until Reddick had the tire rub. So I think I still put that one as my race of the year so far.
Yeah, for me, it's between this and San Diego. I was really high on the San Diego race. But I just, what I liked about this race is that you could almost see the track changing and the driver strategy towards it changing. And that first stage, for instance, they got all spread out. They're all using different lines. I mean, it looked like vintage Daytona. And then you get the rain delay. They're under the lights. Now they're all drafting close together, but the pack is still spread out enough that you get runs. And it started feeling a bit more, I won't say fully like Gen 6, but just what we're used to with Atlanta. And then at the end, it seems like it's the new Atlanta signature is everyone coming out of 4 is 3 wide heading to the finish, and somebody's going to pull ahead right at the end. And, I was thinking about when they had announced this, and I'm pretty sure all of our reactions were either, let's see it, I guess, or what in the hell are they thinking? And I think the fan base at large was in the what the hell are they thinking category. I can't think of a success story with a racetrack in my memory that just everyone has been so wrong on for the most part in the best way possible. And Atlanta is, for me, it's just top of the board with that. It's like every time we go there, unless it gets rained out, like my poll, Jeff's poll, like they're always 80% or higher positive. Everyone's happy about it. And I think that Sunday night, Monday morning was a perfect example again of that. Plenty of positives. Why don't we go to a negative real quick then? But for Bubba Wallace, at least. Fair or foul, the penalty on Bubba Wallace for going beneath the double white line and getting a penalty, even though he did not technically advance his running position on the track, I should say.
I think that's an important way to define that. That's the distinction. I think it ultimately comes down to how do you define advancing position? Because no, he did not gain a spot in the running order until he came back up onto the track and they went off into turn 3. Then he did nose out in front of Hocevar and Blaney, I think briefly for that matter.
Did he make the move with intent to pass is my question.
Well, I don't think intent even matters here. I think the fact of the matter is, though, he did gain positioning on Hocevar by going below the double yellow line. So I was honestly shocked that this was as much of a debate immediately afterwards and in the days that followed that as it was. I saw it in the moment. And I had the same thought Dale Jr. did. I thought that the moment, and I didn't even know that apparently now giving the spot back doesn't matter. I didn't even know that. I thought if he'd given the spot back, maybe it would have been a no call. But the moment I saw Bubba go where he did and not lift, he said he didn't lift, not lift, I immediately was like, that's an obvious penalty. That's the easiest call in years. That was my reaction watching on home on TV. Clearly, Dale Jr. thought the same. So when afterwards, everyone was like, well, no, he didn't gain the spot until after he came back up on the racing surface. I'm like, guys, he gained positioning. He literally muscled Hocevar off the bottom by going out of bounds. Like the entire spirit of the rule is to keep people from racing out of bounds, especially heading off into the corner right before you get into the banking. So I thought it was an obvious call. It sucks because, I mean, Bubba had an amazing race, was top 5 almost all night. I thought Hocevar, and Blaney were like the stars of the show most of the evening. So to see him walk out of there with, I think, 9 points total was very disappointing. It didn't feel like he deserved that. But I think the call was easy. I think this was one of the easiest double yellow line calls in the last decade.
So this is now 2 Atlanta races in a row that Bubba has made the wrong decision on the last lap.
Yeah, too high in the spring, too low in the summer.
Yeah. Damn.
Get him next spring. He'll be perfect right in the middle.
Just right. I think it is the right call pretty easily based on the wording of the rule. I'm just going to go again and say that I just think it's still a dumb rule. I get they say it's for safety. It has not stopped cautions and crashes through the years. It's not really done anything to that degree. All it's done is muddy up usually great finishes. I think at least this one, it didn't, he wasn't going to win the race either way based on what happened. So it's not like, it took the win away like a Regan Smith. I'm kind of at this point where I just fully want to just get rid of it because I think that by the rule, yeah, it's right, but I think it's a dumb rule at this point. I mean, I think I went through like 2 or 3 years ago that statistically big crashes went up with the institution of the yellow line rule some 25 years ago, and they've never went down since. And it would went up even before in general NASCAR overall had wrecks go up. So I just want to abolish the rule altogether at this point, and it's just one less ball and strike call that's going to be a controversy that we have to deal with.
I'm torn. I'm too young to remember the days before the double yellow line. I mean, I've gone back and watched replays. Most of the replays are wrecks, or and so it's like I'm trying to remember how many wrecks were avoided with the double yellow line rule not being in place. It's hard for me to say. I think at Atlanta, if you're going to test it at Atlanta and see if you can get away with no double white line rule at Atlanta, just because it is so different from Daytona and Talladega. But we have a controversy or a penalty come up like this about every year or two at one of these races. So it's not happening every race. It's not happening, every month. It's a fairly rare debate and discussion. So I don't think it's a huge issue one way or another. I just think in this case, I mean, Bubba made an aggressive move and just, I think, yanked the wheel a little too hard, and you pay the price for it. I mean, I think everyone at this point, everyone knows not to go down there, avoid it at all costs. So it's just kind of, it happens.
Looking at some of the other points before we get to the, I guess the one that overarched the entire weekend at this point, Kyle Larson sparked the only actual major incident of the night. I watched the in-car camera he had, and he made this great run for 5 or 6 laps, whatever it was leading up to it, going from the back of the pack up to almost the top 10 before he self-clears and sparks off the wreck. I don't know if there's really much to debate here, but I wanted to point that out. For one, I think we had 29 drivers on the lead lap in a super speedway race in 2026. And Atlanta is so narrow that I think that just makes it more impressive, especially looking at like the crash last year at this race. But two, it's another instance. We'll look at points in a bit where Kyle Larson has choked away more points at Atlanta through moves that could be completely avoided.
And honestly, it was kind of a reminder of so that big 20 car pileup last year at Atlanta, it wasn't entirely unforeseen because it is a drafting track, but it was a little surprising because the first few years of this version of Atlanta, it was a lot of single car spins, 2-car incidents. It was because there were enough gaps within the pack, it felt like the inevitable big one pileup wasn't inevitable. There were ways to avoid it. So it made last year's huge crash sort of stick out even more so. But yeah, I'm with you. It was impressive that they kept the night relatively clean. Larson, though, man, back-to-back weeks where he's sort of ruined his own top 5 worthy night. Not good when he was vying for that 4th spot in points, and now Ty Gibbs is kind of running away with it.
God, I want to see. I mean, he finished. I have the wrong notebook. I have so many damn notebooks. I keep picking up the wrong ones.
34th.
34th, and let's just say he finished 10th. That's 24 points there. And then he finished what at Chicagoland, like 29th or something?
I do not know.
Jesus Christ, he actually 34th. Yeah. Holy hell. Finished 34th 2 weeks in a row. And he would have probably been top 5 there. So it's just, I put a tweet out earlier in the year at the Atlanta one, just like these, because I think he made like a dumb move there, if I remember right, or at least
the SVG wreck.
Yeah,
to the stage end that was on him.
And I put out like, this is both the strength and the weakness of Kyle Larson is that he's always on that razor's edge of aggression, and outside of super speedways that just on the razor's edge of where the car will be. But sometimes he can't just go from 100% to 90% and take the points. And I had so many people come in and be like, no, he is one of the best drivers in the world. And you can't tell him to stop doing that. He needs to race this way. It's like these dumb mistakes. It's like, just dude, take the points. Like you're coming back from a bunch of problems after a 34th a week ago. Who cares if 5 cars get past you? You got still, I think it was 6 to go, 5 to go. Like you have plenty of time to make that up in a super speedway. So it's just, it's disappointing because Larson, I think at this point could be vying with Ryan Blaney and Ty Gibbs for the 3rd spot in points.
Exactly.
And now you look at the points and one more bad race and Chris Buescher, Carson Hocevar, or even Christopher Bell could be right on his bumper or ahead of him. And I think he has the speed to be a championship contender, but these kind of moves are going to take him out of a consistency-based points format and structure like we have. And especially since obviously wins are not guaranteed for Kyle Larson anymore.
Yeah. Gosh, it's crazy looking back at, you talk about consistency, and I was talking about how it feels like Blaney's been very quiet in the top 3. He has been the most consistent. He has the most top 10s of any driver this season at 15. It's just
8 in a row.
That separation of 15 top 10s, only 4 are top 5, 2 of those being wins, is such a difference maker in his season this year. He has more stage points than Denny Hamlin and Tyler Reddick, who are both tied at 151 this year. It's crazy. This race here, we could be looking back at this race in a few weeks and say Atlanta was so pivotal for Ryan Blaney's season because of how much he maxed out in the points. He, getting the most stage points, getting, most laps led, winning the race. Only thing he didn't get was fastest lap because I went to Cody Ware. I mean, he literally about maxed out all of his points. And, we went from having 2 guys, within, 100 of each other from the lead. Now he's right in that mix at only 65 back. This weekend was such a pivotal weekend for Ryan Blaney. And Ty Gibbs is creeping in there too. Now he's 126 back.
Look at the next 6 races too. I mean, the next 6 races, we have another super speedway. Blaney will be the favorite. It's Daytona, but he'll be the favorite to win that race.
He won it last year.
And 4 short tracks. Well, short flat. I'm counting like New Hampshire as a short track. 4 short tracks.
I went because I had to prepare for this week. So I went back and seen who was good at Bristol, who was good at Martinsville.
Ryan Blaney.
Ryan Blaney
everywhere.
and Ty Gibbs are right up there.
Blaney is top of almost every short
And-
flat track statistic of the last 2 years.
And I'm going to mention
Maybe
too,
longer.
Ryan Blaney, since they brought back the Brickyard, 5.0 average finish as well there.
I mean, like I have a prediction coming up later, and people might say it's bold. I got a prediction, but like I've been saying this for weeks because Blaney, we've seen it all these 1.5 and intermediates. He's running like Danny said, like 6th to 10th, getting stage points, getting top 10s, not flashy, but that's not where Penske's best. Penske's best at this track and short track. So what does he do? He literally put together the best individual super speedway performance of this generation. He just did that.
We've seen Hamlin win 3 in a row this year. It wouldn't shock me if Blaney goes on a run and wins 3 in a row because Wilkesboro and Indianapolis win it for Roger Penske. I mean, I would not be surprised if he won 3 in a row.
Exactly. So this is definitely a 3-headed beast considering.
Then we go to Iowa and Richmond. Put him down for 5 in a row? Question mark.
I mean, I'm saying Blaney
Maybe.
might be the favorite the next 6 races. Like he might, like the odds every race, he might be he's not going to win all 6, but he's probably going to be either the favorite or top 2, top 3 in the odds every week.
I will pour a little cold water, at least on the Brickyard part, even though I brought up the numbers, just because Ford, I believe Ford is holding him back this year.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, to me, no matter as long as he doesn't win the championship, this will be a what if season for Ryan Blaney, because in my opinion, and I've said it for months now, and I'm going to bring it up again because I do think that the way Atlanta is now is much more driver talent oriented towards who is up front. It's the same people up front in Atlanta more often than not, as long as they don't get taken out in a 30-car wreck. And Ryan Blaney, to me, is the best Ryan Blaney we have ever seen, and it's not even close. This is better than he ran, in any of the last couple seasons. When it's better than he ran when he was winning like 2 or 3 in a row before the playoffs in 21. This is the best Ryan Blaney. He's had to overcome Ford. He's had to overcome a terrible pit crew on a weekly basis.
They've gotten better. Now they've made changes. They're better.
They've gotten better, but it's nowhere near, I think, some of the best still. Like if you're asking,
he did win. He won Phoenix in spite of them. So you're right about that.
Yes. And so 15 top 10s being the most, the 4 top 5s. So that tells me he is just willing this car up to the front. When you look at Ford's in the standings right now, it is Ryan Blaney and Chris Buescher. That's it. It's 14th on down to the rest of the Fords in the field, and they're all right there, hovered around a cut line with an Eric Jones that had a legacy that was completely lost for the first half of the year, like it always is, with a Brad Keselowski one. I'll say a Ross Chastain with a lost Trackhouse, a Trackhouse driver, and Shane Van Gisbergen, who everyone looks at as a road course merchant and is getting, but even then is still maximizing as much as possible. I mean, these are the guys Ford is racing with. And then there's Ryan Blaney and Chris Buescher. It baffles me how different, and it's why I still can argue that I think the driver has such an impact still on what a team does, because I think Ryan Blaney, hot take, Ryan Blaney is, I think, right there, 1A, 1B as the best driver in NASCAR with Denny Hamlin right now.
I had that exact same thought in the shower this morning, and I was like, should I say that in a video, or is that going to piss people off or get sparked?
No, it's true.
That's funny. No, I think I agree. I want to give Jonathan Hassler his due credit as well, because I do think the crew chief makes a difference, and he and Blaney, I mean, you'd think Paul Wolf and Joey Logano would light a spark and be great considering their championship pedigree, but no, it's been Hassler and Blaney. I'm going to give him credit too for helping lead the charge as well. But I'm fully with you. Blaney's having a tremendous season.
For Penske's credit, this weekend could be one. You talk about Logano as well. This one could be one to watch Logano. He did win the All-Star race here. How many years ago was it at this point?
2 years ago.
Yeah. So he has
last year. I think he was battling Bell last year. He almost won last year's.
So for what it's worth, watch them this one, because I guess we're not going to have to be too dependent on pickers of this one, because I guess we can't do traditional pit stops here. I don't know if they've made any adjustments to the track or not.
I actually don't. I assume they have normal pit stops.
Because didn't we have to do it weird for the All-Star races?
I don't actually know. That's a good question, but I'm pretty sure they're normal pit stops.
I haven't seen anything on it, but
quick shout out SVG 6th place. And
then Jared still dropped in the standings. A point difference between him and Cindric.
And no, I did not sing Crest John. Not that. Not I sing sometimes, but I sing songs I actually know the lyrics to. I'm like Hocevar. I didn't know the lyrics to that song. Speaking of Hocevar, Jarrett, you talked about guys who at Atlanta always seem to find the front. And Carson Hocevar, I think, has to be chief among them. Like he's doing a lot with seemingly very little drafting help. Do we want to talk about Carson now, like the rest of the internet?
I think that's a giant can of worms I'm willing to open up right now. Yeah, I mean, where do you start at this point? Do you start with the race itself? Do you start with the reaction that he got from, I mean, let's name them off. Jamie McMurray, Jeff Burton, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, the veterans or former veterans of the sport. Do we start with Zane Smith hating him as a human being at this point? Like
Jeff Burton during that mid-race break sounded like he wanted to put a fire suit back on and go fight Carson Hocevar himself. I felt like he was holding back. He was angry. Like he
had to scowl the whole time.
He was like, even though he's not driving anymore, he's not racing against Carson anymore. He seemed personally offended by Carson's sort of let's say attitude.
I see what people say. Carson Hocevar, like Napa Racing fan says, Carson Hocevar is not a Dale Earnhardt clone. He's Ross Chastain 2.0, and it's not. No one's saying he's Dale Earnhardt talent, but the way he gets under his competitor's skin, the way he truly intimidates people, is Dale Earnhardt like.
And for me, with Carson, what I really like is that one. He just, I say this not in the necessarily that he doesn't completely care, because I think he does. Obviously, he cares about winning, but it doesn't seem like stuff gets under his skin very much. Like the comments of other competitors or the comments of people in the media. And what I like is that so far, and I hope he keeps this up, because you can't dish out as much as Carson Hocevar has dished out and not keep this up. He hasn't bitched and moaned when he gets it back at him.
Yeah,
keep that up.
Thing.
I want him to keep that up, because if he were doing all of this and then the moment that he got hit, he started, bitching and moaning about it. Like, I think everyone would start turning and being like, stop, you did this. And no, don't pull this shit on us. But
not trying to call the guy out, but like, don't be like Joey Logano, because he will dish it, but he hates it when it's dished back to him.
And Joey, I thought that same thing when Joey a couple weeks ago was like, I wrecked half as many people as he did, but they hated me. And I'm like, well, Joey, I think it was that attitude. I think there's also a reason people still like Larson, is because Larson's made a lot of aggressive mistakes and taken people out or put guys in bad spots. But he's also, I mean, think back to that Kyle Busch Chicagoland finish, like when he can take it. He usually can take what he dishes out, and I think that's what fans resonate with. So I'm with you there on Hocevar. If he keeps that part up, that part of his attitude is what people really like. Danny, you said earlier you were mentioning the Hocevar Earnhardt, Hocevar Chastain comparisons. I've kind of given up trying to compare Carson to anyone else, because I think truly he is extremely unique. He is the first like true Gen Z superstar this sport has had, and I mean that like he's on social media. He's again, I don't want to call him careless, don't want to call him too nonchalant, but he's laid back. He doesn't take it too seriously, even in the moment, singing on the radio. He streams on Twitch. He has a different sense of humor. He has a different way of carrying himself that literally, because he's like one of the youngest drivers in the sport, we have not seen before. He is the first like Gen Z star to make inroads with Gen Z fans. So many of his fans going to bat for him on social media, you get the feeling, are teens and 20-something-year-olds. And it's like, wow, we have not seen a driver resonate with that demographic in this sport in years. And I think that's part of where this whole discourse comes from, is folks don't know how to handle it. This isn't your blue collar Ross Chastain watermelon farmer scratching and clawing for every position. This is a kid from the Midwest who was watching stop motion videos and playing video games 10 years ago. And here he is in the Cup Series winning a race.
It sounds weird to say. You literally mentioned watching stop motions and being, an active person of your comment section, wanting to be in one of your stop motions back then. It truly is like if you took one of our people in the chat who watches us every week, who is truly just a lifelong NASCAR fan, and gave them a family and backing and motions to progress into racing and carry them all the way to the top. It's as if you literally took a NASCAR fan and said, "Here you go, go get your path."
Well, and I do think that at some point, like, he's gonna have to get a little more balance with it, at least like the on track stuff and with the competitors. Because like Denny Hamlin was right. I know he got a lot of flack for it, but he was right. Like, you're racing the competitors, you're not racing the fans, and you're not trying to just win the fans. But on the other end of that, until it really starts, like, 2015 Joey Logano blowing up in his face kind of thing, I don't want him to stop, because we have basically for the last 10, 15 years, all we've heard is the drivers are boring. It's cardboard cookie cutter. It's, all of these different descriptors of just boring. Like it's almost become more interesting to figure out how we can rip on the drivers for not being interesting than actually find an interesting driver. And now we have one on a silver platter right in front of us who is, he is the, like, yes, I know there's been other Gen Z drivers in there. Like, technically I'm Gen Z and I'm how old am I? 28. but he's the first one that it's like, it is clear. Like he makes up that.
He's the stereotypical Gen Z on his phone, on social media, speaks almost a different language. That's what I mean.
And NASCAR is a very old school and I don't mean this in a mean way, but very old person driven sport by the way that a lot of people, all these people that we're talking about him on TV are in their upper 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And it's like, yeah, he's going to get under your skin. I like that. I want a driver that comes in who doesn't come in to make friends, who doesn't go in being like, well, oh, shucks, guys. Like, it's just so cool. I'm standing next to Denny Hamlin. Like, no, I bet you if he raced Denny Hamlin, he'd put him door to door and maybe put him up in the wall out of the corner like Denny and Larson do to each other all the time. Like, I'm all right with that. I want to see that. I would rather see that than another cookie cutter driver. If I want to see a driver who just shows up, never gets into any kind of problems, the only problems that happen are fans bitching and moaning about him being boring, I'd root for a Hendrick driver. But but I'm not. There's a place for that, but there's also a place for Hocevar. Like, I want a Hocevar as much as I want a Mark Martin in the field, because I think that balance is really, really fun. And I also am really interested going to a short track. Who the hell is going to get him back this week?
Yeah, shoot, they took, Zane took a shot at 1.5 miles. So all bets are off at a half mile. Oh, I also want to say to that point, like, it is, I think Hocevar's environment plays a role here too. Like, I think racing for Spire, who, have you met Jeff? Have you heard Jeff Dickerson speak? Like, he is happy to get under people's skin. I think he fully embraces that. I think that's a big part of his character and identity as well. He's the scrappy sort of thorn in your side, I suppose. And I think that's why he and Carson Hocevar get along so well. A lot of folks at the start of the year, why is Hocevar signing a long-term extension with Spire? We don't even know Spire's any good. This is why, because he gets along personality-wise, I think, perfectly with Jeff Dickerson, vice versa. So sometimes it is about fit. Because, Carson's call him antics. That sounds derogatory, but Carson's personality probably wouldn't fly at Hendrick Motorsports. Because Rick Hendrick, have you heard Rick Hendrick talk and compared him to Jeff Dickerson? Rick Hendrick is like your quiet, old uncle or grandfather at Thanksgiving who wants to instill his wisdom in you after years of experience. Very different than the thorn in your side, Jeff Dickerson. So it's just
Jeff Dickerson's the one who brings up politics and then just steps aside from the table and lets everyone else go at it.
He's that family member. Yeah, no, it's just interesting. I think it's just such a great fit, and they're kind of just. That's why you're getting the full Hocevar experience right now, because his team is pushing him to just keep going. He's 8th in points. I guess it's working so far. Danny, I think you and I saw the same tweet. I know Hocevar was trading in other drivers' t-shirts. Did you see the numbers? Someone, I don't know who this is. Somebody tweeted the numbers.
This is Lyle on track, and I'm assuming, I think it says just your neighborhood NASCAR photographer, Diet Coke enthusiast, and avid Taylor Swift listener is his bio on X. So Lyle is doing some work. I know there's a clique of people who are good friends of Carson who kind of was helping organize this in the merch hauler for him this weekend. So here are the official numbers, and I did all the math. they did have officially 77 people come up and trade in their shirt of an active driver or team for Hocevar shirts. So I'd like for you guys to take a guess. Wait, Eric, have you seen the numbers? I don't know if you've seen it or not.
I saw the first couple, so I know who I know which shirt got traded in the most.
Zane Smith. It's that's
No,
because I would
not.
I'm surprised because I would think that some people would buy a Zane Smith shirt just for the sole reason of the bit.
So you guess Zane Smith, and Eric's already seen it, so he can't play in this. The correct answer is NASCAR's most popular driver, Chase Elliott, with 20 shirts traded in for Carson Hocevar shirts.
Oh my God.
Double digits, 20 of them.
I wish I had the tweet still pulled up. Shout out to whoever replied with Chase Elliott fans not beating the bandwagon allegations.
So this is Chase Elliott's home track getting 20 traded in.
See, this is what I like about this kid, right? He knows exactly how to generational headbutt everybody else with this thing, because I know that gets under people's skin, that he just, because it's completely harmless, but it's just rolling with the punch. And the thing is that he's on social media so much with like the Twitch streams and all the other stuff he does, that it's like he is just absorbing it all. Do you see what he put on his Instagram story the other day? I think it was yesterday, like early in the morning. It was a 2-minute compilation of Dale Jr. trolling Jeff Gordon on the racetrack, just getting under Gordon's skin. There's one at Talladega where Jr. just bumps him right into the corner when bump drafting was banned into the corners, and Gordon's getting pissed, and Jr. does it for like 3 or 4 straight laps. And then like the next one is Atlanta, where Jr. keeps going and like slide jobbing over Gordon, and he's bitching and moaning. And then the other one's at Michigan in 2012, where it's like, you better tell the 88 to thank me for not wrecking his ass. And all I'm thinking is, he had that whole segment where Junior's telling him to stop doing all this stuff, basically. And it was like all of them doing an intervention kind of on the air. And then he immediately posts, hey, look, it's Dale Jr. doing like the same shit I do.
So I've got some more numbers to share on this one. So Chase Elliott, obviously, with the biggest gap at 20. In second is William Byron with 8 shirts traded in. A tie for third, Kyle Larson with 7 traded in. Also tied of him, Zane Smith with 7 traded in.
Okay, so there's Zane.
So wait a minute. So he said there's 7, 20 Elliott, and what was the other one for Byron? 10?
8.
8. Okay, so we have what, 35 shirts that are Hendrick shirts right at the top.
Yes, and I will say, just as an honorable mention, Alex Bowman did have 3 traded in as well for Carson Hocevar shirts. So a lot of Hendrick shirts were traded in here. Just a few others. Chris Buescher, he's the 5th with 4 shirts traded in. Also with 3, you have Bell, Blaney, Gregson. Front Row Motorsports with 2 traded in, along with 2 for Logano, 2 for Bubba, 2 for SVJ, and 2 for Ross traded in, all with 1 shirt each. Junior Motorsports, 2311, Trackhouse, Ty Gibbs, Connor Zillish, Eric Jones, Jimmy Johnson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and Denny Hamlin, all with 1 shirt traded in.
20 minutes ago, Carson Hocevar replied to this post, confirming this is the official count of T-shirts traded in, and added, "What should I do with all of them? Didn't think of anything creative yet." So
T-shirt blanket.
Yeah. In case Hocevar is potentially watching or goes back and sees this chat, what should Carson do with all these?
Honestly,
shirts?
You got 77 in front and back, big giant T-shirt blanket hanging up in his apartment that he's got.
No, have it as like, you know, when you have the awning on your infield RV, have that hanging up so all the drivers have to walk by and see it.
What you need to do is
then tell all the drivers to come through and sign where your shirt is.
I think what I think he should do, I like that idea. He should cut them all out and somehow glue them or shape them into a 77. And then, yes, have all the drivers come sign their shirt. That's a great idea, Danny. That'd be an awesome art piece right there. That'd be super cool.
Like, how do you think like some of these like some of them probably actually don't care, just roll their eyes, but there's got to be at least 1 or 2 of them that are like, really, like my fans. Really?
Well, Chris Buescher having 4 shirts. I mean, how many Chris Buescher T-shirts are really out there? So to lose
5.
4 of them right there is tough.
Is this the NASCAR driver equivalent of like in a war capturing the enemy's flag?
Kind of, yeah.
That's
Shoot.
what I'm talking about. This I love this.
I hope they
has
keep doing
no-
this as long as it doesn't financially hurt them. Do this at a few more tracks, because I'm curious to see what this would be at different places. They did Atlanta, tried at Bristol. If they do it at one of the races I'm going to, I got like a few Bowman shirts. I'm tempted to just take one myself just to get a Hocevar shirt.
Shoot, I mean, that is true because Chase Elliott at Atlanta, there's probably a lot of Chase Elliott shirts there, so that might have swayed the polling a little. I'm not sure. But yeah, fighting over fans. Isn't that the plot of K-pop Demon Hunters? They're fighting over fans.
Yeah, they're fighting for the fans. Yep. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he made a reference to that next.
Yeah.
Well, that and I saw he was trending with like this really big TikToker that they're like the rumor they're dating and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Amelia comes bursting in the room the other day and she's like, Eric. I'm like, what? She's like, did you know this? And I'm like, I don't, because I guess this is just some like lifestyle TikTok, some girl. Amelia's like, yeah, I've followed her for years. She was very excited about this, that her worlds were colliding.
well, I saw he was in Nashville like a few weeks ago, and it like wasn't Nashville week, and I'm just like, the hell is he doing here? And then like I saw these pictures, and I'm just like, huh, who knew?
I just
Thought he was with Kay Adams.
I just thought another good idea that he could do with the shirts that he collects. 40 All-Star race, as long as they can get sponsor approval, get them to take all the t-shirts they collect and fabricate it into his fire suit as the outer material.
They could do that somehow. That would be hilarious.
Even if it's just for a photo, because I don't know if you could make them flame resistant. That's kind
There's
of
probably somehow, some way they could reinvigorate the material. I don't know.
Or he just have his Spire could just have all their employees wear the shirts to the track as a joke.
That's funny.
We could probably do this all night. We should probably actually get back to a bit of Atlanta. There's one other thing I did want to ask that people are talking about. And it's as fun as this is, because honestly, like I would want to do this all night. But so the race was Sunday night and it rained.
Yeah.
And we were stuck there. And I don't know about you guys, but
our broadcast called it. He did say it would.
He nailed it. But I'll admit I took cat naps throughout the red flag because dad life has hit me hard and it has hit my ability to pull all-nighters anymore. But should NASCAR keep running so many Sunday night races? We're actually coming up to the end of a 3-week stand of Sunday night races in a row. There's always not much room for weather delays. What do you guys think? Keep it the same, change it, or go to Saturday nights? I've been very vocal on Team Sunday night, so I'll back off.
Sunday nights are just so hard when it's not like Memorial Day weekend and everyone has a day off. Like, do it on a Labor Day weekend, do it on Memorial Day weekend. But I just don't. I guess it's because I'm still old school. I grew up, just looking forward to, oh yeah, Saturday night race. Yeah, this is nice. Watch this, and then have a Sunday, to do whatever the next day. And I don't know. I guess I'm still very old school in that regard. That if it's a night race, unless it's a weekend, like a holiday weekend, it should be Saturday nights. But that's because I'm old boomer, 30-year-old now.
I'm not a huge fan of Saturday night, except for Daytona and Bristol. I think those have established themselves as good traditions, so I like those. I kind of agree, though. I think Sunday night races should be reserved for holiday weekends, like the 600 ends late. That's a holiday weekend. You mentioned Darlington, Southern 500 ends late, holiday weekend. I can understand July 4th weekend, especially with it being, like July 4th weekend, maybe that one running a little late. I get that it's hot in the summer and fans baking in metal grandstands at 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon at a lot of these places doesn't sound pleasant. That's not going to be an easy sell for tickets. So I understand some of the physical reasons why they've run all these night races, but I'm kind of with you guys. Like, I think late Sunday night races should be reserved for very special occasions. 3 in a row it's not my cup of tea per se, but it is what it is.
So I just because the numbers have proven out ratings wise. I mean, we'll talk about the ratings in a bit. This race on a Sunday night into Monday almost matched last year's Saturday night race that had like a 30-minute delay. Like it's kind of crazy the difference there.
Yeah.
But I think a middle ground can be reached where we don't have to worry as much about it. Now, it might not be like night on TV, but it might be night for most people. So like what I brought up is maybe like San Diego. You know, you get the laps right so it doesn't go into the darkness. Sonoma, same thing. But you're not going to have to deal with weather more than likely on those races in the summer. And then maybe an Atlanta can move then to a Saturday night. I mean, the 4th of July is on a Sunday. I don't know about you guys. The ratings weren't great for Road America when it was July 4th Sunday. And it's more than likely going to be the same kind of cable race anyway. So I would say have Atlanta be 4th of July weekend. It races like old Daytona. So, you know, you did get that same feel and put that on a Saturday night, you know, and then you can maybe move Lime Rock to Sonoma week when the other two series are in Sonoma and they can be in Lime Rock if they come back. But I think the other way they could do is maybe move it instead of like a 7:30 Eastern start, maybe make it 6 p.m. Eastern. I think the Southern 500 this year actually is starting. I'll double check, but I think it's starting an hour earlier than it usually has. So moving it, it's starting at 5 p.m. Eastern instead of the normal like 6:30. So I think that they can keep trying it, but I think there needs to be ways to open up the windows more. Maybe go to tracks like Wilkesboro that you can use wet weather condition tires, so you're not having as long of red flags if it comes up. But I do think it should be chosen on certain bases like that, because the amount of times we've been rained out or rain delayed, like Chicagoland was nice that it didn't, and it worked out really well. But for every Chicagoland anymore, there's what we just had. And I don't want to stay up till 2:30, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning on a regular basis at this point.
I think part of the fatigue is it's 3 in a row. If there's a way to space them out a little, you maybe wouldn't be having this debate. But yeah, I'm kind of, because Saturday night's not good for ratings, unfortunately. Maybe on July 4th weekend, it's the best case though. So I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion one way or another. It's just been a rainy summer. I don't know about where you guys are, but where I've been, it's been a very rainy spring and summer. So that's NASCAR just kind of impacted by that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely picked up. We had a very kind of a dry spring here in Tennessee. We were actually in a drought, but it's more than made up for it this summer as we've gone on.
I saw that. That was funny.
Good call.
Well, there is one last thing to talk about before we kind of get into the rest of the races and everything, and that is the standings. So going into it, we got the top 12 right here. By the way, starting until we get done with the regular season, there's a green dot next to your driver. It means they have locked themselves into the chase in any respective series we show. So Denny Hamlin and Tyler Reddick, I don't know how it maths this way, because I thought it was like the max points you could lose is how you get in, but Bob explained that there's like kind of an equation to it. And
so if they just finished dead last, they would at least be in the top 16 somehow.
Yes. Yeah. There's like, based on what Bob was saying, NASCAR said there was like no mathematical way that 17th on back could make up the points all at the same way there's no way that 15 could pass Denny Hamlin and 14 could pass Tyler Reddick.
So potentially it won't be long until Blaney hits this then.
Probably this week, I would assume. So Denny Hamlin, for those that are listening, 791. So 24 back is Reddick, 65 back is Blaney. Danny, you alluded to this earlier. We now have 3 drivers within a race worth of points of each other, battling for the regular season championship. Eric brought up it's pretty strong for Team Penske coming up. So it is not done. I made a very ill-fated prediction that Reddick had it in the bag, and he does not. Ty Gibbs, 126 back, kind of on an island. Then you got Elliott, 181 back, 197 to Larson, 223 to Buescher, 5 behind him for Hocevar, 12 behind Hocevar is Bell. Bell is only 9 points above 10th place Chase Briscoe. Suarez, 262 back, is about 13 behind Briscoe, and then Byron is 9 behind Suarez. So
just watch Ty Gibbs. This could be sneaky. This could be a sneaky run of races with how good they've been on in general, but on short tracks this year, this could be sneaky for them to get into that conversation for the regular season championship as well.
Yeah, and so the battles here, you talk like Gibbs is that middle ground. So like he really could jump up into it. I feel like we're kind of split in between two battles at this point. It's first and third and then fifth on back. And I'm just kind of thinking, what driver do you guys think could pop up and get into that top 5 or 6 that hasn't been there so far?
I mean, I guess the easy answer, you said top 5 or 6, sorry.
Yeah, jumping up. Like the top 6 has basically been the same for most of the season. Yeah.
Then I guess the easy answer would be Christopher Bell or Chase Briscoe, because we did see what they were both capable of at Chicagoland. We know what Joe Gibbs Racing is capable of as a whole because of Denny Hamlin and Ty Gibbs' success this year. So I would tend to point to one of those two.
I would agree. I'll mention William Byron just because this has been I think there's been a lot made of how Bell, Briscoe, kind of off this year. And I think that's amplified because Toyota has been so good. So why are they off? That doesn't add up. Hendrick, I know, has been a little more hit and miss, but seeing William Byron 12th and then seeing and hearing him and Rudy Fugle kind of go at it, it's the most animated you'll usually get from William Byron over the radio. And then just, seeing him 12th, it's like, man, like this is a guy who's usually in championship contention. And if he goes into the chase 12th, he's not winning the championship. I can say that pretty confidently. So he needs to gain a few spots here the next month.
Yeah, I would say, I thought Bell was going to be handicapped by the broken wrist. And in all honesty, I think he's gotten maybe luckier because he's been at the same rate, but he's gotten better luck of not being involved in as much crap. And, he has as many top 5s as Ty Gibbs and Kyle Larson at 8 at this point. And he's led a ton of laps. So I think if Bell can stay out of trouble, he could easily be the 5th or 6th seed going in.
Definitely.
Now the cut line, and this is just all the guys that are within it. Bubba has now fallen from the first group to this group. He is within a race worth of points from falling out, plus 55 still, so still pretty good. Cindric 32 and 31 for SVG, 8 points between Eric Jones and Joey Logano, then 26 back to Preece, 43 to Brad, 45 to Chastain, 47 McDowell, and AJ Allmendinger falls to 50 points back after Atlanta. So I want to pose 2 questions. The first one is, of those below the cut line, who you sticking a fork in? Who's done?
Brad.
Honestly, I wouldn't say that confidently about anyone top 20. I think even Ross has had some good runs lately. So I would say McDowell on back, no chance. But Brad he started on the pole I think he won the All-Star race pole last year at North Wilkesboro. So I'll hold out for another week or 2 on Brad, see what they're doing.
I'll say I think I'll go with the 20th on up for now, but for me, I think this is the moment of truth week for Brad and Chastain. Ross, I know he's had better runs, but I can't see Chastain making up 45 points on Jones. I can't see him being that much better to make up what is it, 68 points he'll end up having to make up on SVG.
It's like they're figuring it out. They're figuring it out way too late. But it's not like they're figuring out where they can win. It's like they're figuring out where top 10s can be more optional again.
And then the other question I'll ask is, which one do you think jumps in and which one do you think falls out?
These next few tracks, man, I with only 8 points back, I can't doubt Logano in this situation. If it's him versus Eric Jones, I like Logano. I would trust Logano to do well on these next few tracks more than I would Eric Jones.
I honestly feel like Jones and SVG are going to fall out, and I think Logano and Preece will get in at this rate, again, considering the tracks that are... Now, Eric Jones is the question mark. And Shane's had some good short track. He was 11th at Martinsville. He was... Where was he at... Phoenix. I think he was 11th at Phoenix in the spring as well. So like some of these short flat tracks, SVG can be okay, but he's so inconsistent. I'm going to assume Shane drops out. Eric Jones is the wild card because he's gone on this summer surge, but it's mostly been the big ovals. It's been big intermediate tracks, Pocono, Michigan, and he's 5th at Atlanta. We don't have any of those. And the rest, well, we have Indy. I guess we do have Indy. He needs a big race at Indy, and then he's got to survive or exceed expectations at all the short tracks. And we haven't seen Jones do well at short tracks consistently for me to say he's going to hold on to that 8-point deficit. So I feel like Joey and Priest, who are both great short track drivers, will get in.
I'll say Logano gets in and SVG falls out. I trust Logano at these kind of tracks. And it's not that I don't trust Shane. I don't trust Trackhouse.
Because for Logano, I looked it up. I think he finished top 10 in both Bristol and Martinsville earlier this year. And I mean, this is a race that Logano could legitimately win. And if he does, like, that really sets him up in a much better position than Eric Jones and definitely climbs him in there closer to SVG. Yeah, SVG has 2 wins, but again, Logano's going to likely be more consistent on these ovals the next few weeks. So,
well, we will see. It's crunch time now. Like I thought there were more races, and then I looked when we'd finished up. I'm like, God damn, there's 6 left. Damn.
The thing is, if Logano gets into this chase, that's where I'm like, what have they been sleeping on all season? What could they do if they won like 6 races in the chase?
I just don't. I don't think they could. I mean, I think if Joey gets in, he's limping in, like 15th, 16th. Like,
just depends on how consistent they can swing in this last round. I mean, if they come out winning a race or two, they watch out.
We'll see. Let's go to a few of what viewers thought or at least showed out for. Let's start with TV ratings. Cup scored 1.5 million viewers after a 3-hour delay, down only 7% from last year's 2025 Saturday night race with a 30-minute delay. And TNT says they were on track for 2.4 million viewers before the rain delay happened. So on a pretty good track on that one. O'Reilly scored just over 1 million viewers, peaking at 1.072 million. It was the most watched Atlanta O'Reilly summer race in 5 years. And then Trucks at Lime Rock actually did pretty good. 522,000 viewers for the Truck Series, which on FS1 around noon during the day, it's not bad. And then the poll, Iceberg poll, my poll. 10,000 voted. 73% of voters said that this was a great race, and 20% said good. So 93% net positive for this race. 5% said average. 2% said negative. Looking at some of the numbers here, this was the 3rd highest polled Atlanta race, which just shows how good Atlanta races have been. The 2026 spring race and 2024 spring race were the only 2 that were ahead. It was the 2nd highest polled race of this year behind Atlanta. And it was the 3rd highest of 40 polled super speedway style races. The top 4 are all Atlanta races. So good company. It was the 27th race also to join the 90% club out of 279 races I've polled, and the 6th highest net positive of all time. So people were very high on this. It was only behind the 24 Atlanta spring race and this year's spring race, the 2019 Bristol night race, the 2024 Kansas spring race, and last year's Kansas fall race. The Kansas fall race and this year's spring race had 94%. The other 3 had 95%. And it's the highest amount of voters that voted great on one of these polls since last year's Atlanta race in the summer. So
sounds like people like Atlanta.
I think so. Yeah. Looking at the comments, first comment was from Matt. Positive, negative, or meme?
We don't usually see a Matt in here, so some of our usuals might have already been asleep, so that's why we get a new name. I'm gonna go with a negative.
Go meme.
It's 1:46 a.m. and I stayed awake for that. Worth it.
Oh, I thought I had it there for a second. Positive.
We got a positive. Top one was from Bland Spaghetti. He said, I want to talk about the idiot that thought a 7 p.m. start would be a good idea on a Sunday night.
That is late. I'm with you about earlier. Like 6 Eastern is maybe the cutoff for a Sunday night race.
Yeah. Mars says, shout out to Cody Ware for getting the fastest lap. That guy says, Atlanta never disappoints, worth every minute. Blaney's one hell of a driver. He earned that one. Keselowski needs to retire.
Dang.
So just a stray right at the end.
I mean, that was like lap 2 or whatever. He had an issue.
Yeah. SBG says it took some divine intervention, but the Todd father is still in this thing. Talking about the in-season tournament.
Final 4, baby.
Got my prediction wrong. And it's weird because for most of the race, I noticed he was like a lap down. All of a sudden, I was, fighting sleep towards the end of it, admittedly. So I didn't look the next day. I was like, oh, Todd beat Bowman.
The Todd father made a call.
And then Abram says, I am still energized and it's 1 a.m. And then the gutter comments from the Solis, who says, too damn long. They should shorten this race. No. No.
That's a big fat no.
They've already reduced it because originally the first race at Atlanta was like 500 miles, and that was way too long.
That was too much for that super speedway style. I mean, it's fine for Talladega and Daytona, but Atlanta, just because of how much slower they are, that felt forever. There were 2 other races, by the way. So the O'Reilly race, I feel like we all just want to forget about it. Justin Allgaier won, by the way. We went through all of that for a Justin Allgaier win. Again.
Yeah. Shout out my guy, Brennan Poole, man. He's not always, but he often finds himself at the front of these drafting tracks. One of these days, it's going to work out for him. If y'all haven't seen it after this, check out new episode of Power Hour. I uploaded earlier today. We spent the first 15 minutes. Basically, it was therapy for Brennan. It was basically his post-race debrief, trying to break down what he could have done differently to defend against Nick Sanchez and Allgaier and Quapple.
Was there that much he could have done, though?
I mean, he talked about maybe
got wrecked,
I mean, he gave him maybe a little too much room, but he also, you don't want to give up your right rear. So I'm kind of with you. He committed to a lane. Sanchez made a very late, very abrupt move. Quapple was all over him. Then they got hooked together, and that's what caused the wreck. So it's just, it's Justin Allgaier was like the only guy up front there who's kind of like got it made. All these other guys, Brennan included, but especially like Nick Sanchez, Quapple, they're fighting for every opportunity. I mean, Nick Sanchez has been not fired. He's lost his ride twice in the last 6 months, once to a guy with funding and the other because his team went out of business. So Nick Sanchez is desperate. Quapple trying everything he can. And so it's just going to happen. That's why you're going to see whatever it was, like 4 red flags in the final stage alone.
7 on the weekend, by the way.
Yeah.
We had 7 red flags. So we had 1 in the truck. We had, 2 in the truck race, 4 in the O'Reilly race, 1 in Cup.
Yeah. Brutal. It was a rough race.
Yeah. I'll ask this too. Was that the worst race of the year? Because at least in this final stage, it felt like it.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I think
full disclosure, I was at a concert the whole time. I was watching the whole thing I was watching on my phone without sound most of the night because all I could hear was the bass and guitars thumping, echoing throughout the auditorium.
So Eric was at a concert and I was at the Cubs-Reds game.
Like it was supposed to be over. It was supposed to be over before the main act came on, but because it went like 3.5 hours, it ate into the first couple of songs. And so I was the only person in the auditorium sitting in my seat, sitting down, not standing, watching overtime to see if Brennan could pull it off. But yeah, no, so I didn't get I had other things to entertain me when the race got slow. So I can't speak to that. It was rough though. It was definitely a hard watch.
I'd say you could say it's the worst for this series. The worst NASCAR race of the year, from what I've seen, what I've gathered online, is whatever that Coca-Cola race was yesterday.
The iRacing race.
God, people want to get us on the e-ticket last year because we let them race till the end. Meanwhile, they're literally all stopped at the finish line. God, I mean, even when all the drivers are ripping on it, I think it's fair.
People running out of gas, was that the main issue in that?
I think it was like they had them. I think if I'm not mistaken, because I'm gonna be honest, their rules are way different than the
Because the
iRacing
leader,
stuff
when the
I've done.
caution come out, ended up like not winning the race. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he ran out, and then they were trying to catch the pace car, and I don't know. I gave up on that series a long time ago. I'll be honest. What I haven't given up on is the chase for the O'Reilly series. So Justin Allgaier has not only clinched a chase spot like he had before, he has clinched the number 1 seed already with what, 4 races to go, 3 races to go, 3 races to go. He's just on one. Jesse Love 240 back, but he is clinched into the chase. And then it's just sort of a scrum. 273 back is Creed. 4 behind him is Day. 11 behind third. In fifth is Quapple. Then 302 back, which is about 29 behind third place, Brandon Jones in sixth. 5 behind Jones is Austin Hill, and 20 behind him is Sammy Smith. So I feel like at this point, it's a battle between Creed and Day. I know the others are kind of close, but I think it's between Creed and Day who gets the 3rd seed.
Here's a fun fact of how Allgaier has such a massive lead. He's 240 above Jesse Love. Would you guys like to guess how many stage points he has this season?
A lot.
240-ish.
Yeah, it's ish. 263. He has more stage points than his gap to second place. If he had just lost, if he had just lost the 240 of his stage points, he'd still only be tied with Jesse Love.
Yeah, he has more stage points than 3 full-time drivers have total points this year.
He's the only driver in the 200 range. Jesse Love does have 179 stage points. Sheldon Creed, 126. Corey Day, 133. Quaffle, 158. Brandon Jones, 131. And Austin Hill, 102. And there's a few other guys scattered in there that have more than 100 stage points. But definitely the good finishes, the wins, the stage points, all that has added up to this just phenomenal regular season. Now, this means no guarantee that they're going to continue this in the chase, but I would be highly shocked if it just stops.
Carson Quapple is someone I'm looking at to maybe contend for that 3 seed. I don't know how many regular season races he has left in the 1, but if, let's say, all of them are, I see no reason why he couldn't make up those 11 points.
I mean, if he can just stay with them through Indy and Iowa, it's Daytona.
Yeah. Rodney Childers.
Looking at the cut line here, Parker Retzlaff plus 71, almost a full race up. Sam Mayer plus 33. He just can't get away from it. Plus 18 for Cruz. Gray 17 above Raja. And then 21 back is Sawalich. I still feel like if Raja can't make up a good amount of points in these next 2 races, I think he's in the 32 in at least one of them. I feel like this is going to be the top 12 still.
Yeah, I don't have any faith in William Sawalich getting up there. Raja, it's just going to come down to, can he maximize his days in the 88? That's what it's going to come down to. And I feel like he's feeling the pressure, and I don't know that he's felt that kind of pressure a lot. Like, he's always felt pressure. He's always had pressure to race for his next opportunity. He's been in positions to win truck races, and he's won truck races, and he's made deep playoff. Like, remember last year, he was probably going to be in the championship 4 until he got like a cut tire at Martinsville, I think. So like, he's been in high pressure spots, but like, this is going to be week after week after week. And I don't know if he knows his future plans. So
I want to see Raja get a full opportunity in one car, maybe the 88, maybe something else. I'm just so surprised at everything, because they say the reason he's not in 88 full time is because of sponsorship. But yet when he's in the 32, it's usually a HendrickCars.com paint scheme still. So I think that's part that kind of baffles me a little bit. I know they can pay a lot less per race for Jordan Anderson as opposed to Junior Motorsports, but at the same time, it's HendrickCars.com. Like, what are we talking about? They're on Kyle Larson every week. I don't know. I don't know. The money is there for him. I just don't know why it's not being spent on the better opportunity for him. I don't know. Maybe he's an option for RCR to look at next year. We don't know it. I don't know.
I think they probably had like a deadline of getting sponsorship fully upped for him before they had to fill in the others. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, I mean, I give him
He
credit.
needs to win a race. That's the
he
hard
could win
part is, I mean,
Daytona.
he could. It's just hard. And I feel like Caden Honeycutt's feeling some of this pressure in the 11 truck. You step in for a guy who just had the greatest season ever in that exact truck, same crew chief, and Honeycutt's been good, but I mean, Corey Himes stepped in there and beat him still a few times in a different truck. Like he's having a good year, but he's not. Like Caden Honeycutt's been a slight disappointment this year. And I think it's safe to say Raja and basically everyone who's not a cup driver in that 88 has been a disappointment. Nobody expected 10 wins like Connor Zilic did. Nobody expected that. But Connor Zilic did do that. So we know it's possible. And so for that car to not be winning at all this season with, with the regulars in it, I think that's, you just got to win. I think the truth is Raja's got to run better when he's in that car. That's the honest truth.
Raja's one of those guys that, it wouldn't shock me if he does indeed miss the chase this year. He could be one of those guys that, even though he misses the chase, he could still play spoiler. He could win a race inside the chase. Like, what if we go to Bristol in September? He's not in the chase, but he goes out and does well and wins Bristol. He could be one of those guys that slowly starts to cement himself, get better as the season ends to prep for next year too.
For sure.
And then going all the way back to the start of the weekend, let's go to the trucks real quick. Grant Enfinger finally is starting to hit his stride, breaks through in a chaotic race, and chaos was the name of the game on Saturday in general. Racing itself wasn't all that much to write home about. I think the big question before we look at the points on that, do you think that NASCAR should keep trying at Lime Rock, or because the crowd was there? They had a pretty good crowd.
Yeah, I liked it. It looked like a decent crowd. I watched the whole race. I was glued to my TV. It was fun. It was different. It was a different race. Yeah, it wasn't amazing racing all the time, but I mean, shoot, second half of that race, there were guys off course every lap. It was people were pushing. I mean, the Honeycutt and Gio Ruggiero getting together, not backing on, teammates not backing down from each other. That's a little bit of spicy drama. Like, I actually thought it was a pretty entertaining truck series race. And it's fun that the folks up there in Connecticut have this one-off. ARCA comes up there with them. It's a stand. It looked like a good crowd. I think it's cool if they can fit it onto the schedule, if it makes sense. I think it's cool to have these kind of standalone truck races.
See, it's one of those that's like, yeah, it's very cool. And I guess it's not too far out of the way. It could be one of those things that I don't know if it works fitting into Atlanta weekend, but what if we try to find a way to fit it into the New Hampshire weekend and just send the O'Reilly Series and Cup Series up to New Hampshire and then do trucks at Lime Rock Park that same weekend? Because they're only a couple states away from each other. It's not that far from. I'm looking at the map. I see Concord, New Hampshire right there, and then there's Lime Rock Park. I guess that's maybe like a 3 to 4 hour drive from each other.
I feel like they could with either coast. I think they could have Lime Rock because, like, if you do it with East Coast races, they're all heading the same direction, like you said, and maybe we can have a little bit more crossover too, if that's the case. Like a Cup driver could fly out there and run the Lime Rock race or something like that. And then on the other end, like if it's Sonoma weekend, for instance, that way the trucks don't have to travel as far, maybe don't have to spend as much. So I definitely think that there's spots in the schedule if NASCAR elects to do so. My question is, if they make an effort to go to certain other tracks, does it get the boot too? I hope it stays because I think we got a pretty tame race last year and a wild race this year. And much like Bubba Wallace on the last lap of Atlanta, I want to see if we can get it right down the middle on the runway on year 3 on try number 3.
Yeah. Well,
I think it is fun that we do have a few places that adjust the trucks go to. Like we've had the Milwaukee Mile for a little bit. We've got IRP, for Indianapolis weekend. I've seen people throughout the idea of just taking trucks up the Road America, and hey, the weekend of Chicagoland Speedway, a truck's only on like Friday of that weekend, at Road America could be interesting. And some of my comments on that Kentucky Speedway video, again, we'll talk about that later. Some people threw out the idea of just trucks running at Kentucky Speedway, and that's not a bad weekend for Atlanta weekend.
Quick shout out. I just want to shout out a couple of guys in the truck race real quick because I don't want us to forget them. Landon Lewis, second place is pretty cool. Yes. Parker Kligerman, I know he's from Connecticut. I think he's like an investor in the track. 4th place for him. And Thomas Annunziata won the ARCA race. Truck bursts into flames randomly in the truck race. He was sent to a hospital, checked and released, seems to be doing okay per his most recent update. But yeah, I just wanted to give him a shout out because that was like, whoa, you don't see that.
It's too bad he couldn't have ran that throwback same he intended to, because would have been great seeing that one win.
He won. Yeah, that does suck, man. Looking at the points here, Lane Riggs and Caden Honeycutt have locked themselves in. They are head and shoulders above the field. 44 points between them. Lane first, Caden second, then 154 back to Chandler Smith, and the battle for third. 1 point between third Smith, fourth Eckes, 10 points between Gio Ruggiero. This one, we could ask who's going to get what, but I feel like when you have Wilkesboro, Iowa, Richmond, New Hampshire, we all have the same type of races. I feel like that falls into, at least in my opinion, to Chandler Smith and Front Row. Because I think Front Row really excels at these type of races.
Christian Eckes is a good short track guy. Christian Eckes is a good short track guy too. He's won races there, so I think he'll at least hold serve.
Yeah.
And then looking at the cut line, wherever it went. Yep, and now there it is. It's actually gotten a lot tighter. A lot of people have fallen down to the cut line now. Majeski plus 62. The yo-yo season has went down the valley. Now it's hopefully for him going to go up the mountain this week. He's 62 up. Ben Rhodes 54 up. Hemrick 53, 42 now for the Finger, who was well below the cut line just a few weeks ago. 17 up for Ankrum over Friesen and Garcia. 21 back to Butterbean, Perez 31, 34 to Haley, and Gray is 41 back. So I just mentioned we don't have a super speedway in this run like the other series. We have 4 tracks that are a mile or shorter ovals. I feel like if anyone's going to jump in, it's probably going to be Stewart Friesen at this point.
Yeah. Brendan Queen comes from late models. We'll see if he can carry that Ram truck, but the Ram trucks are just so it's just kind of
It is nice. I had to go above the cutoff line. I remember a few weeks back, I think Grant Enfinger was below, and I told y'all don't sleep on Grant to go out there and sneak a win somewhere and be in a good spot. And sure enough, he did get that win. I told you to be on the lookout for. Now he's right or comfortable in 42 above.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Corey Heim would be on this list if he were eligible. I should just add that in right off the bat. He would actually be 3 points behind Tanner Gray.
I still think he should be eligible. That's one of the more dumber rules in NASCAR, in my opinion. That this is the series he's at least approved for points. I think it should still count.
Yeah, these all got 14 starts, by the way, to his 5. But he is starting this week. So maybe he makes up a boatload of points. Who knows? But that'll do it for what was a pretty damn long weekend. A lot of stuff going on. Let's go to the first Super Chat stage break, guys. And there were a bunch of them before. So I don't know if I'll put them on screen. Eric, you might be able to.
I'll try.
Starting out with a few from Joshua Boston. Talking about the package here, says smaller spoiler good, horsepower drop to 465 bad. I hope NASCAR reconsiders this drop in horsepower during preseason Thunder in 2027 and uses 750 instead.
That's a little too much for super speedway.
Yep.
So I don't mean to put Joshua on blast, but I've seen a bunch of comments that are like, "Oh, less horse." This is
Super
more
speedway.
horse. This is a super speedway, and this is still more horsepower than almost the entirety of the restrictor plate era. Like, horsepower doesn't matter. It's just a number. They're still going to be going 200 miles an hour in the pack. That's all that matters. Anyway.
He also says the late, great Barney Hall predicted back in 1996 we'd return to North Wilkesboro again. What a shame that the voice of the Motor Racing Network is unable to see his prediction come true after passing away 10 years ago.
Yeah,
one of the greats.
Technically, this is the first official points race back, and it'd be very interesting to hear who's the defending winner later.
Yeah. Jeffrey King says the Napa Elliott curse continues since 2022 Dega. Palm Tree says, I'm pretty sure I woke up the neighbors across the road when Brennan got put in the wall. Just one loud, devastated scream of "Fuh!"
So clce. So
Couldn't even finish those last two letters. You're that mad.
Bailey says the O'Reilly race felt like an ARCA super speedway race. Absolutely embarrassing. Pretty true. Palm Tree says also, with how stage 1 strung out, are we ready to put the regular 1.5 mile package on Atlanta and modify Vegas or Texas for drafting? I think Atlanta is slick enough. It'd still have great racing, and the West Coast needs a pack race. I don't want a super speedwayify anything if we don't have to anymore. This is enough.
Yeah. If we're gonna do another track, do Kentucky instead, just because that one needs a help anyways.
Danny's really trying to make Kentucky happen now.
Hey, I made Nashville happen. I'll do it again. I'm like Goofy. I'll do it again.
He spent a few hours there, and now it's like he bonded so deeply with Kentucky.
That is never going to happen.
I willed Nashville Super Speedway to come back. Jarrett willed Chicagoland to come back. We need you to will a track to come back. Do you want to hop on the Kentucky Speedway bandwagon with me, Eric?
I could give two shits about Kentucky Speedway.
You can. It's dead and gone.
Texas World Speedway.
It's dead and gone, but you can will a rebuild of Texas World Speedway
over a neighborhood.
Actually, no. What was we talked about this years ago? The 3 mile, 38-degree bank Texas Mega Speedway. That's what we want.
With a Buc-ee's in the infield.
Yes.
With the return of Walt Disney World Speedway. Disney World Speedway coming soon.
We'll get it right the second time. Looking at a few more here. Let's see. Joshua Boston says, Hocevar is great for NASCAR. There's no denying that, but we also want him to stick around and not fizzle out because he's too wild for his own good, like Robbie Gordon before him. Just saying. Robbie did get in his own way a lot.
Yeah, that's a delicate line.
Let's see, Sloth Nerd. This season has made me too depressed and have switched my loyalty to IndyCar. Stay away from IndyCar Ford. We'll continue to watch NWP there. Well, thank you. We'll keep you updated.
So does that mean Ford is running people off with their midness this year? That's very sad to hear.
Indy Carson says, hey, NWP, could you do a poll for me and see if fans during the show prefer NASCAR racing? Should be on at 6 current Sunday night races or old school Saturday night races, like 8 in 2012. 2026 has only 3. Probably later on do it during like
the cool down Saturday night races that year?
Back in the day, there were a ton.
I don't remember that many. My gosh.
Yeah, because we had
Texas had one for a couple of years.
At one point, it was like Phoenix, Texas, Darlington, Kentucky or Chicagoland interchangeable in there. You had Richmond, Bristol night race, Daytona. That's 6 right there. Charlotte.
Yeah, right.
So depends on the year, but yeah. A few more here. Blake says Fox is so bad they managed to also ruin the MLB All-Star game last night. Only showed the updated lineup like 3 times the entire game. Terrible.
Oh, I watched some of their broadcast. The AI slop was out of control. So it's not just NASCAR on Fox. I had this conversation with Amelia, actually. You can tell it's the same people making all the calls for Fox Sports because when it comes to their on-air talent, they're not really interested in who actually fits great, who's the most talented. They're looking for names. Like I remember a Fox executive on Twitter was defending their Jeff Gordon in the booth pick when people were like, Jeff Gordon's not that good. They're like, well, it's Jeff Gordon. Look at his resume. It's like, yeah, he's a great driver. Is he good in the booth? I don't think so. I was watching the Fox baseball broadcast. They have Derek Jeter, David Ortiz, Alex Rodriguez, like the who's who of the 2000s, some of the greatest baseball players ever. Phenomenal. They sit down with Justin Verlander for an interview and get every single stat based on his career wrong. They did no prep, no research. They knew nothing. It seemed about maybe the greatest pitcher of this century. So it's classic Fox. AI slop and style over substance. Tom Brady in the booth, is he any good? No, but he's Tom Brady. So
like
Fox
I've never even heard Tom Brady in the booth. Like
I'm just saying,
he's gotten. I will say Tom Brady's gotten better, but that's also because I'm pretty sure the NFL probably like put a gun to his firstborn's head and is like, "You better get it right. You're costing us money."
See, Tom Brady's probably going to be like Jeff Gordon in the sense that Jeff Gordon started off doing commentary and then he went away to focus more on the ownership side of Hendrick Motorsports, just like Tom Brady's going to eventually leave and focus on the ownership side of the Las Vegas Raiders.
the Brady comparison was probably unfair, but the baseball comparison was totally fair. That was a joke. MLB's All-Star broadcast, a joke. Fox's broadcast, a joke.
Let's get 3 more. Bailey says Joey Logano hasn't had a top 5 since Martinsville, and this was his first top 10 since Michigan. It's been a bad year. Thank you for the $1. And then we'll finish off with Crest John, who says, not going to lie, I was enthralled by Wipeout. Oh, Wipeout is really bad now, man. It's really bad.
I didn't watch it. I know that was on during the red. I didn't watch it.
It's no bueno. You know, it is really good though, especially when I'm not caught out in it like I was last night. I went for like an evening run after I did an interview, and I was not crazy about being caught out in a real life lightning round, but I love this lightning round. I really love this one. Let's go and do it here. We of course have the NWP channel, which is linked down below. We will at some point get a date to you of when we're going to do our little like 1,000 subscriber special on that channel. It's just I think we're actually like talking about like texting about it last week. We're like, oh yeah, we can probably text about it like after the race or like sometime this week, and then the race decided to just go into the week. iRacing is racing its subscription prices in August. I think it's like $1.75 a month more, so it's not like killing you, but still it's notable. The public memorial for Kyle Busch will be held in the Charlotte Motor Speedway on October 9th. So for anyone that's going, keep that in mind. Peterson Racing Group is rumored to have 2 full-time teams in O'Reilly next year. Marcus Smith and SMI will be joining the ownership group for the Cars Tour. So that might be something to look at maybe as a more companion series in the years to come when it comes to races that might not have O'Reilly or trucks at an SMI track. So maybe keep that in mind. And then next week we'll be on Danny's channel again, July 22nd, 8 p.m. Eastern time, talking all things Wilkesboro and heading into Indianapolis, Brickyard 400. So it should be a lot of fun. That was a quick lightning round. Before we go to headlines, Danny, we have been teasing it a little bit. You have updates from being literally at the Kentucky Speedway without breaking in.
Yes, I was on my way to Cincinnati, Ohio from Nashville, Tennessee, and decided that since I was going to my buddy Matt, Claudia is out of the country. You guys remember I went on that mission trip with our church to Jamaica last year. She's back on it again from mom. So I had a weekend to myself. So I called my buddy Matt up. I was like, hey, do you want to go to an MLB game? The Cubs are playing at the Red, so it's not that far away. It's only like a 4-hour drive. So yeah, we booked us a hotel, and it was just about 17 minutes away. So stopped, checked into the hotel, and drove up to the Kentucky Speedway on the way. Since it's, again, this is most shocking to me. Everyone just, when you think about Kentucky Speedway, you think about that traffic issue in its very first race. And I guess things have changed a lot since then. They've added in some better road systems since then, but it's literally off the interstate. So that's the crazy thing. You know, people talk about, you know, tracks being out of the way. It's literally off the interstate. You can about see it from the interstate. It's that close to it. But I got there, and it's only been 6 years since the last race there, and that was a race without fans. There's starting to be a lot of deterioration already, only 6 years later. There's grass that's starting to grow through the parking lot. People, you see it on map, you just see a bunch of Ford trucks. Those Ford trucks are gone. That was when they had a period where they were waiting on parts that were in short supply, so they needed to just have a place to house those. Those have been gone for a while now, it looks like. So the only things going on there, every pathway into the track has like little barriers. You can't get into it any further than the road. So don't go any further than just the road. Like where I got is about as far as you should be able to see it. Don't. Yeah. As Ethan says there, I respect Danny for not trespassing. Yeah. Don't go trespassing onto the property. You can see plenty from the highway, just like I did. That's all you need to do if you do pass for that area. There is a building that. Actually, there's 2 buildings I saw. One's the old Credential building, which is like a little trailer. And there's more of a bigger garage area that says operations on it. And I think that's the only building where what little staff is they do have at Kentucky Speedway, because they do have some people, is just working out of the operations building. They're not working out of the big, like, nice Kentucky Speedway admin building. That's got a barrier in front of it. You can't go up there to it. Even that kind of looks like the building starting to kind of just get dirty looking from the outside. A lot of the parking signs around were the worst that you'd see around the property, like definitely lost their color a long time ago, cracks in them like crazy. One even had missing panels off of it. those are definitely starting to look really bad up there. I guess the grass is getting mowed, but it's pretty obvious they're only mowing it like once a month and probably just like doing a bush hog with it real fast, just kind of getting rid of, just so it's not going to be like a jungle out there. Yeah, it's if I had to put this on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of like unsalvageable racetracks right now, I guess I'm going to go a generous, if 10's being the most unsalvageable, 1 being like Chicagoland Speedway, perfect condition. I'll put this at like a 5.5. I'm not willing to say that it's be impossible to race there again, but what I could see from the track conditions, it would be a very worn-in track because this is, this. I might have seen something they've still done the NASCAR racing experience there here and there every now and again since then, but that might be the only cars that have really hit the track there, unless I'm missing any kind of Goodyear tire test that I don't know about. So it's been bare minimum track activity there, Kentucky Speedway. Nearly called it Kentucky Land. What am I doing? Rename it to that, and we'll have a great new track name for it to reopen under. But no, yeah, it's definitely not ready to go racing right now. I'll just put it like that.
No, your video showed a lot of good just images. I was surprised to see how kind of decayed looking parts of it were. That was a little surprising. So I on your 1 to 10, and I wasn't there in person, I'd probably go 6.5. But yeah, who knows? I mean, I feel like you're right.
And maybe I should have said 6. I'd say 5.5, but 6 is probably more realistic. Like it would still need a good amount of sudden care. Like it would need at least a year to get it back to racing shape, in my opinion.
And I know it's not crazy far from other racetracks, but it being so close to like Ohio, especially,
That's the thing. It was smack dab in the middle between Louisville and Cincinnati, and those are 2 good markets. I was in both of them literally on my way. So I don't know. It's just so fascinating to me that it didn't draw in more fans than it really did.
Well, and I will say too, like Chicagoland had a big groundswell behind it for a while before NASCAR brought it on. I honestly think if Chicagoland didn't have so many fans that were pushing for it for so long and bringing it up on a regular basis, and then drivers bringing it up, like I don't know if it would come back as quick if it would be back yet. Whereas like Kentucky, it's sort of the next gen's good at 1.5 miles. Maybe be good at Kentucky.
It'd probably be a decent race if I'm being honest. And even for what it's worth, I guess the last 2 were the Battle of the Bushes was probably the best one.
The finishes were good. I still wouldn't say the racing was. I mean, the racing definitely wasn't like as horrible probably as we remember, but it wasn't very good. The thing too is that the payouts were some of the lowest in NASCAR too. On top of that, it's like I feel like once SMI had the traffic issues and the first couple of years didn't go right, they were just sort of like, they're spotting the schedule, just do the bare minimum and whatever.
I know I've seen some people also advocating they'd like to see IndyCar add another oval, and Kentucky would be one they'd want to see considered. So I mean, if this is just purely SMI, if they wanted to go that direction, I would argue to do kind of like what they used to do with Texas Motor Speedway back in the day, do an IndyCar and truck race weekend if you just want to have something at Kentucky Speedway.
Might be worth the shot, but I'm glad we have some updates on it because you are right. You can see it from the highway. So it is pretty cool that you got pretty good footage out of it. If you hadn't watched Danny's video, I should probably put it in the description after we finish this up. So I'm going to.
Yeah, I don't get to do many videos, but was able to put that one together pretty quick. I edited it literally under the red flag on Sunday. That's how much time we had.
And you and me were texting about it. I'm just like, yeah, I guess go for it. But let's jump into the full headline section now. We'll go through these probably pretty quickly. First off, the big news from today, NASCAR has unveiled the new super speedway package for, I know they said Daytona, but I'm assuming it means for Talladega as well. Then the big highlights are the spoiler will go from 7 inches to 4 inches, which is same as the intermediate tracks, to try and reduce the drag. So that way they don't have as much of a parachute, I guess, going out of line and trying to make a pass. Horsepower going down from 510 to 465 to try and reduce some downforce. With that one, it's pretty similar to what the Gen 6 era was. It also would mean less horsepower. More than likely, it'd also mean less fuel being burned. So maybe that could help with saving gas a little bit. NASCAR said they anticipate about a 3 mile per hour increase for single cars, but about the same speed for the pack itself. Denny Hamlin said that the goal is to try and make the Atlanta style racing at Daytona and Talladega, and said that, quote, it's the first bite at the apple. It will be a 33% gain in the right direction. Also worth noting, there still is no practice for this race.
Of course. No, but my first reaction seeing this is finally, we're not sitting on our hands. I mean, this has been a complaint since, I would argue, like 2023. I think 2022, the first year of the next gen, it was all so new. We weren't really sure exactly what we were watching. But I feel like since 2023, it's been, fuel saving has gotten worse and worse and worse. It's gotten to where you're saving fuel, riding half throttle for 45 laps just to go hard for 10 to 15. And even in those 10 to 15, you're usually stuck in line, unable to pull out of line without fear of getting blasted by air and fall into the back. And so it's not been great racing. It's just push until one lane pushes too hard and wrecks. I mean, that's how a lot of these Daytona, Talladega races have finished the past few years. And I think it was overdue for a change. And, so I will give NASCAR credit, the manufacturers, everyone credit for being willing to make this change, especially mid-season like this. But, I hope this is just the beginning. I hope that there's still those rumors about an extended preseason Thunder test. I hope they bring some real hardware out to that, and that does happen, and we can maybe make some larger changes next year. Denny says this might get us 33% of the way there. Hopefully we can find the other 67%, in the off season. But I'm glad they're doing something, because I feel like the big super speedways now are, I frankly don't really enjoy watching them. If I can be completely honest, it's like, I have a stomach ache like there are moments I love, but I kind of just end up like clenched, just like the whole time.
Like, I hate to say this in a bad way, but I guess it's like, it's long, and you're just waiting to see who can survive till the end of one of these, and you're hoping no one's gonna commit the sport ender in the middle of the race somehow, and you're just like
2028.
It's just a question of like, okay, who's going to be in this in the end? That's basically what you're waiting for in one of these races.
I do wonder, with less downforce, what the effect is going to be if a car does get turned around like before, because all of the flaps that they put onto the cars, especially for super speedways, had in mind the package we've been running. So I'm wondering if maybe that might be something that rears its head. But I'm cautiously optimistic, but I don't know if it's going to be like 2019. I don't think it will be 2019 to 2021. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think if we get what we had in like 2013, 14, 15, I honestly think that'll be a massive improvement, because people could still make their way up the pack. People could still make runs at the leader. The leader had a big advantage, and it's not really all that fun, but there is no advantage now. I mean, it's we talked about that Talladega race that Hocevar won earlier and how much of a highlight that was, but like the race itself was not good. It was bad. I think the finish and the winner is what elevated a lot of people's remembrance of that race. Same with the way that the 500s last 3 laps were. People are like, oh, it's pretty good. And then it's like, you look back and you're like, nah, it really wasn't. So I hope people don't overblow this, that this is like, oh my God, we're back. This is like, 2000 super speedway race. I don't think it's going to be that way. If it is, holy hell, NASCAR. I can't wait to see what you cook up in preseason Thunder. Like if it's open to the public, I'll be there. But
It's a step,
highly
and I
doubt.
think,
yeah.
and it's important, and I think it's good that Denny and them are sending that message that it is just a step, a small step,
Yes.
hopefully in the right direction. Not having practice is goofy. I mean, I get it. You're going to get all the data and stuff you need in the race. It's hard to replicate race conditions, but not having even a half hour to just feel things, that's kind of dumb. There's still time to change that. We'll see if they do,
Hopefully.
but no, I'm glad they're doing something. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like I'm not expecting this to be an all timer. I'm not expecting it to look like Atlanta. I'm just expecting it to be at least a little different than the past 4 years, and that different than the last 4 years is good with me. Hopefully, that means different in a good way. But I'll take anything at this point. I'm glad they're trying something.
Well, let's look at some reckless speculation now, briefly here. So there was a picture that's been floating around on X. Bozy, I think he quote tweeted it, but Colleague is spending more time in the Aridin wind tunnel, and a lot of that talk has been about Dodge. There is, I believe, that like Ram truck or whatever X account that has a lot of the rumors and is pretty good with it. That's been like, they're pretty far along with it. So we're not even going to like talk too much about what they're doing because nobody really knows right now, but more with all we know, with the rumors flying around, what percent, 0 being obviously no chance, 100 being full, just because for some reason somebody at home is going to get confused on that. What percent chance do you think we see a Dodge in the 2027 Daytona 500?
What do you think, Eric? You go first on this one.
I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm going to go 50-50 because either we will or we won't. I mean, but I think they 100% are trying. I think they still believe Dodge to Daytona in 2027 is on the table. Maybe I'd go over 50. I think they're that confident they might be able to make it. I might go 60.
I'm right there with you. I'm agreeing to 60%, and the reason I'm at 60%, not 100%, is because yes, I know they have every intention of it happening, but I don't know what is the end result of NASCAR's final approval process and them getting the car where they can all be approved on it. That's the outside factors. Yes, we have Dodge and Colleague that want this, but then you have to get the other side of that approval. So that's why I say there's 60% intent, 40% we need to finish the other process.
And that part's actually why I think it's more likely than not that they will make it on track next year. Because I think NASCAR wants them on track next year. I think they already maybe have, extended deadlines or, tweaked the timeline to try and accommodate them. Because I remember reading a while back, you needed like to submit your body and everything for design like a year and a half in advance. And we're obviously well within that range. So I feel like I think NASCAR is trying to hold their hand and help them along the way as best they can. I think that part is true. So I think there's a good chance they'll get it done. The engines are the part that I'm very interested to know. How are they going to, that report from, I think it was from Bianchi a few weeks back, that they discovered a breakthrough in how they were going to produce engines. Because that's always been the chatter. Like Colleague, they don't have an engine shop, not a big robust one like Roush Yates or like, Toyota or Hendrick or ECR. So how are they going to develop Cup Series engines? If they only have 2 full-time cars, maybe that's a smaller operation. Maybe that's where the breakthrough came from, is they did find somehow they could do it and meet capacity. But that's probably the biggest hurdle they still have yet to clear.
That's going to be the interesting thing, because when you think of Dodge, you think some very powerful engine brands that come associated with them, across multiple different ways. Cummins engines. You think of the Mopar brand. You think of a Hemi, you think so much good engine power of Dodge's history. So that's one thing that's kind of interesting. Okay, get them a chance to get their brain on things and what can end up happening.
So I'll be more aggressive. I'm going to go 80. I think the aggressive nature that they've gone through with all of this, the rumors more and more floating around that it's not just that they haven't had a breakthrough. They're there. NASCAR extending deadlines from the sounds of it. Like I think it's more than likely it happens. And competition wise, I don't think it's a right call. I'm going to stay firm on that one. If we think they're struggling in trucks with Ram, imagine how much they're going to struggle in Cup, which is infinitely more competitive than trucks. I don't think it's the right call. I think 2028 would be the right way to go about it. But knowing how Stellantis runs things now, I think it seems so on brand for them to rush this into 27. And I think it's more likely than not that we're going to see 2 Dodges, one driven by AJ Allmendinger. Who knows who's going to be in the 10 yet? It could still be Ty Dillon. But I think more likely than not, we're going to see it.
Well,
I know it's aggressive.
I mean, to your point of how fast this is all happening, it's only been about 12 months. It's been roughly a year since they first announced that they would be coming to trucks. It was Michigan. That was like late June, 1 year ago. It's basically a year ago. They announced, hey, we're coming to the truck series. And here we are a year later, and they're going to Cup already. Like, remember, Toyota in the mid 2000s spent 3 full seasons just in trucks before moving their way up, or before their Cup Series program got off the ground. So, I know times have changed. The next gen car has certainly sped up that timeline a bit, but I do agree. It's an aggressive, there's an aggressive, very aggressive timeline.
Last bit, when it comes to the headline side of things, NASCAR has sort of talked about, even though Steve Phelps is gone, who was really pushing expansion and going to different areas, they're still trying to go on that path. So there were 3 main points for domestically what they were talking about, and 3 points internationally that came up. I believe it was Sports Business Journal put an article out about it. So domestically, still a very big push for Chicago in 2027. Again, from what I heard, pretty much a lot of the details were done. It's more in the hands of state and city governments at that point. So get ready for Politics Central, as much as we hate it in our chat. There is an effort sooner rather than later to be back in the Pacific Northwest, and continuing talks to bring back Naval Base Coronado for next year. Internationally, there's a high focus on getting a race to Canada. They're looking at possible events in Europe, and England was actually mentioned by name as like the top country to look at for NASCAR to maybe do an event, maybe points race, maybe just its own thing. And then
possibly going by Big Ben. I mean, come on.
Well, and then possibly an event in Le Mans after the success of Garage 56. I think IMSA did a NASCAR style event. So taking all that into perspective, and what we've seen NASCAR do the last about 10 years with the schedule, what they've talked about pushing, like, for me, I think that this is just sort of, same plan, different person running it now. That's what it seems like.
And that's never really something I feel like was dedicated just to one person. I feel like that was a thought amongst the entirety of NASCAR management, that they want to see these kind of events happen. Again, I know we've talked about, I've hammered this thought. I don't like the idea of going to the same cities over and over. If we're going to do Chicago with our street course, okay, let it be our street course, but then let's go do another one next year, then another city, then another city. Like, I like the idea of one street course per year, and make these cities fight to be able to have it, and put up a fair fight to not get the same city every year.
So after hearing that, I love that there at least is interest in the Pacific Northwest. Obviously interested in staying in Southern California. I think there's a lot of fans out west that have so few options now. So I'm glad to hear that NASCAR is keeping a close eye on that region. And I love hearing Canada. I think Canada, if they're going to go international again, I think they could do Mexico City again, but I think Canada would be an even bigger win if they could get that Montreal, collab off the ground finally, or who knows. The Europe stuff, I get where their head is at with international. I think, so many sports are international. I mean, Formula One, that's obviously the model they're looking at. I'm sure Formula One is blown up across borders. I mean, the World Cup, that's proven to be a huge hit. I mean, this entire country's embraced it as well as I think anyone expected, maybe even more so than a lot of folks expected. And that's a huge international appeal. So I get, like, the world is more connected than ever. Sponsors, companies are more international than ever. So I'm sure that is playing a role in NASCAR wanting to get some of these international events off the ground. So I get the business side of what they're thinking. A race in Europe, it'd be cool, but goodness gracious, it would be the greatest logistical challenge yet. And so I don't know. I'd love to see how they make that work. What's their plan for making that work? The Canada and West Coast stuff, all for. If they can make that happen, that'd be great.
I will note one thing that wasn't mentioned at all in it, and was a big point even up until about 22, 23 that was still talked about. no talk of a race in Saudi Arabia or the Middle East at this point, like there was before. I'm just saying. I mean,
Wasn't
it's
the
probably
SRX
not.
talking about it briefly? Remember that headline?
Yeah, and like much of that area of the world, it got bombed down really quick. Anyway, we'll see. I mean, I think that the future, the next 10, 15 years, especially the next TV deal, I think is when it's going to be really interesting to what they do. I think the way that American sporting leagues in general have been really putting a focus on Europe. I do think at some point we're going to see a NASCAR race in Europe. There's plenty of great historic tracks. NASCAR fans in America will be pissed because they are pretty much all road courses, but it's, that's just the name of the game over there. But I'm willing to embrace, I think 1 or 2 international races is awesome. I think having a street race a year is pretty cool. Like I'm willing to have a diversification of the schedule because NASCAR is, in my opinion, has done a pretty good job of balancing old and new. We've brought it up. For every Chicago street race, we get a North Wilkesboro. For every Naval Base Coronado, we're going back to Chicagoland. We have Rockingham back, Bowman Gray, there's been a good balance so far. So I trust until they screw up, and it could be they could do that next year, they could do that in 10 years. I do trust the schedule makers at this point, though, that I think they will get the balance right.
Here's just an idea. If talk about some technically international race options that could be something to look at in the future. A little bit easier logistically since it's technically part of the United States. Puerto Rico actually has the 1.5 mile Ponce International Speedway Park. Interesting 1.5 mile, 12 turn road course down there.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be a 1.5 mile cookie cutter. I thought it was just gonna be another Kansas.
All NASCAR, a lot of like NASCAR fans who are just like looking at a cursory view are gonna be like, oh, another 1.5 miles. And then they're gonna like show up and just be like, it's a road course too.
I say look into the. If you haven't ever heard this before, this is my first time ever looking it up. Like, it's pretty interesting track design. It's got some hairpins, it's got some longer stretches, some bus stops. Pretty interesting.
We're looking at. But guys, let's have a little fun. All right, we've got through our headlines, talked a lot of stuff. It's gonna be a long night, but let's look at our predictions. So each host will make 2 NASCAR, motorsports, or show-related predictions. We'll keep tracking our accountability session as long as I put the right damn ones in this week, and we'll keep them relatively concise within a few years. But let's be honest, with all these rules, we play fast and loose. I got 2 right. I said RCR would lead less than 50% of the O'Reilly race. And they did by a wide margin. That a lot less. And I also said that both races would end under green. They tried not to. At least the O'Reilly race for sure didn't, but we got them in. Eric, 1 for 2, said Aspire car would be in the top 3 at the white flag at Atlanta. They were leading with Carson Hocevar.
I was glad I got that one right.
Now, somebody asked Austin Hill about grunting, but he basically did not bite at the question. You said Austin Hill would grunt or reference grunting in one of his interviews this weekend. He was not in the mood to grunt.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, that's fine. That's fair. I think that's fair to put that in red.
Danny said Austin Hill would lead laps in both Atlanta races. He did not lead in Cup. And then Alex Bowman would be in the final 4 and advance this week in the
I really felt better about that for a long time, but in the end, old Todd got him.
Oh, the Todd father. So looking this year, I am leading at 60.47%, Eric at 46.15%, Danny at 35 flat. And all time, I have 40.052, Eric at 34.44444 repeating. Somebody can do their loop on that one, as well as this one with Danny at 32.77777. So
Carson Hocevar.
Yeah. And third here this week, there's no Cup 32. So I guess Jordan Anderson, Carson Hocevar. So I'll lead us off on the predictions, and I'm going to have a positive one for next year. Positive for everyone but Jamie Little. I will say that Eric Brennan will be the full-time truck announcer in 2027.
Now, does it count if he's full-time, but like there's a week or two maybe where he doesn't do it for whatever reason?
the week planned in advance, or is he announced the full-time one? Because I'm saying he's announced the full-time one. I'm not gonna try and technical loophole this one.
Got it. I was just curious. I teased this earlier. I'll just go ahead and make it official here. There are 6 regular season races left. I predict Ryan Blaney will win at least 2 of them.
Is that the one you were alluding to like way earlier in the show?
Yeah, at the beginning of the show, we were talking about how Blaney could win. Like Danny said, he could win 5 in a row, and I said he might be favored for 5 in a row, but I think he'll actually win 2 or more.
So you're just saying he's going to win 2 more races
of the next 6 of the regular season races.
That's basically what I have, but worded differently. The way I had it worded was Ryan Blaney will finish the regular season with at least 4 wins.
I suppose that is essentially the same prediction.
Eric, what are the exact words of yours?
I just said 2 or more. So basically 4 or more wins in the regular season.
Those are essentially the same prediction.
They're basically the same.
You're going to have to give me time for a second one just because you went before me, but
we'll use your second one now, and then we'll run through again.
Predict that he wins 5 in a row.
All right, you know what? I'll just say he'll win at least 5 races, and I'll give him 1 more. I got enough confidence in Ryan Blaney.
So you can both be right.
I'm dead at Ethan in the chat when we had the same prediction. He goes, both could happen. Yes.
So you know what? Hey, I'll just give him 1 more to shoot for. I don't know how I'm going to get the Reddick one and this one.
I like that, Dan. Thanks for doing that. That's funny.
I mean, you'll know by the bye week if it's still possible or not, I think.
Yeah.
All right, so rolling on my side, the Lime Rock circuit will get an O'Reilly or Cup race by 2030.
Oh, okay.
I'll go aggressive on that one.
2030. That's 4 years away. What happened to contained and concise?
Okay. Well, how about this? Then we'll do by 29. There you go. There's 3.
You can do 2030. I'm just saying
we'll do
you're
29.
You're gonna have to keep track of it for that long. My second prediction, another prediction I made earlier in the show, but I want to codify it here in our segment. Ryan Preece and Joey Logano will make the chase. They're both outside right now. I think they'll both make it in.
This is a interesting one here that I'm going to shoot with. Now, a lot of people instantly wanted to point blame and get mad at these guys for what happened with the Annunziata paint scheme this past weekend. But it really seemed like that was more of an issue with the team submitting things in the end of all of it, not necessarily this particular company. But I'm going to say that before the end of 2027, M&Ms will return to NASCAR in some capacity.
You care to make it spicy and say where the track you think it'd be at? It doesn't have to be part of the prediction. It can just be like you predicted off the record.
Off the record, I think we'll see it. I'll just say potentially this year during the chase in some capacity. I'll just leave it at that. But I think before the end of 2027, we'll see them back in some way, whether they're sponsoring a race with someone, they'll be back somehow.
I like it. Well, those are predictions that everyone will follow, and I will keep potentially for a long time with my Lime Rock prediction in the in the chamber. But that means we have one more fun segment to jump into, and it also means that the chat and my 2 co-hosts will be not seeing each other for a few minutes here. Random driver of the week. All right, so Danny leads Eric 45-43. We got those Petty Enterprises numbers now. Eric has 3 of the last 5, though, with Blake Cook, Red Byron, and Matt Kenseth. Danny has Kevin Harvick and James Buescher. So let's get into it. This random driver is a New York native.
I heart NY.
God, I like how like they put their predictions for who the driver will be before I even have anything said.
Is anyone right?
No. This random driver shares a name with a competitive swimmer on the Olympic team for Team USA.
Like this, like same
It's
first
same
and last
first
name.
and last. Yep, same first and last name.
Is it Ryan Newman?
Ryan Newman.
I didn't know where he's from, but I know if you would always look him up, it'd bring up some random girl. So I was like, I don't know who she is. That's why I just shot that one out there.
Michael Phelps. Final answer.
Michael Phelps.
No, I was joking.
I know. I'm just giving you shit.
If you've ever just Google search Ryan Newman, it brings up him sometimes, but usually, is she an actress? I didn't know what she was. So.
Think she is. I don't know. I would always just be like, I don't want to see a girl. I want to see a portly looking man.
Put that one on out of context, NWP.
Oh, that one would go great.
He said portly looking man. Jeez.
It's all right. Do you know what the dude in the X-Wing, the big dude that gets blown up at the Death Star?
Yeah.
Do you know what his name is? So Danny knows. Eric, do you know what his name is?
I don't know his name, but
Ryan okay. No. Porkins.
Oh my god.
Porkins. John Pork.
All right. This random driver is noted to be a huge fan of the Carolina Hurricanes as well as the Denver Broncos. Go Broncos.
Oh, that's a huge hint, I think. Oh man. Oh, geez.
The amount of times we tweeted about this random driver, I haven't. Danny has once. Eric has twice. I just wanted to put the suspense there.
Twice as many times as Danny.
But 69 less times than you name whoever it was he did 71 for.
I think that might have been Matt Kenseth.
No, you were over 100 for that one.
Oh, damn.
I think you were. I can't remember off the top of my head. This random driver began racing at the age of 4. All right, I will give you the. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's giving me vibes of definitely not being like someone from like the 50s or nothing like that.
Well, this random driver's most recent number that they drove in NASCAR was the 8 car.
Is that the only number?
No. That's just the most recent.
Oh, okay.
This random driver drove Chevys, Fords, and Dodges in their NASCAR career.
Chevys, Ford, and Dodges, you said?
Yep. Let's see. I don't want to give it away too soon.
But most recently drove the 8. Okay.
This random driver made 208 O'Reilly Series starts.
Solid.
And won 6 of them.
Okay. Cool.
This random driver made 224 Cup Series starts. And won once.
1 cup win.
1 cup win. This random driver made 2 starts, though, in the All-Star race.
I guess they raced their way in once or something, or fan vote.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I should know this. It's on the tip of my tongue.
This random driver's first start was the 2007 Food City 500.
You at that race, Danny?
No, I didn't get to start going until 2009. All I really know about that one was that Kyle won it.
I can give you the numbers this random driver drove in. There are a lot of them, so make sure your pens have ink.
Good boy.
Ready.
I just got a text from someone that said the Olympic swimmer lives 10 minutes away from me.
Jeez.
At least you know I check my DMs when I get messages, y'all. Okay.
That's funny.
Numbers 07, 06, 01, 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 14, 18, 19, 22, 28, 35, 41, 42, 43, 46, 47, 49, 51, 56, 58, 63, 65, 78, 88, 92, and 95.
I guess out of all these, I'm just going to go with Regan Smith.
Regan Smith.
That's who it is. Oh, no.
I was hearing a ton of Regan Smith numbers in there.
Yeah,
just-
Regan
But I
Smith
don't remember. So his most recent start was the 8.
in the O'Reilly series.
Yeah.
He ran
makes sense.
to 8 for Junior Motorsports.
Mm-hmm.
He's
I
from
remember
New
that.
York. He drove for Furniture Row. Of course, he's a Broncos fan. I should have known that. Ugh.
The next clue is going to be he made 2 cup starts for Hendrick Motorsports.
Good pull, Danny. I'm mad I didn't
Yeah.
get that one.
Apparently, we did Regan Smith too already.
I don't remember that one.
Did I get him? Did I even out with Eric?
I think the chat just guesses like they put it like a million guesses each week, so they've like probably
I didn't-
convinced themselves one of the past ones was Regan Smith because they thought it was. You know what I
I'm
mean?
I'm going down to double check.
I don't see it in the list, but they
You're
probably
very
didn't
on
put
top
it
of
down
things.
there. Well, chat, then if we did it before, who won? Did Danny break even so I can say that I gifted both sides, or
I didn't know there was a swimmer named Regan Smith.
all I'm hearing is we did it. I know we did it. I hear Mandela effect.
I don't know.
But now that I think about it, Regan Smith definitely sounds like it could also be a girl's name for a swimmer.
Yeah,
That's possible.
we did last year. I mean,
At
it
least-
obviously
At
made
least
for
I
a
was
good
on
one.
the right track with the Ryan Newman thing, I guess.
Jarrett used the same Olympic clue. Was I not on the show that week? I don't remember
Yeah,
this.
I'm looking back at the ones we've previously done, and I don't see Regan Smith on here, unless like Jarrett probably just forgot to. Is there an AI strong enough that can tell me every single random driver we've ever done?
I'm gonna laugh if they said that we did it before and then it ends up we didn't, and it's just one of those like.
I think they're just gaslighting us now to be funny.
Either way, it makes for a fun show, and don't read too deep into it. All right. Well, let's head on over to North Wilkesboro. A few weekend notes. The only extra cup car outside of the chartered ones is for Chad Fincham, the 66. So we know who will finish 37th on Sunday. Trucks wise, it's going to be a stacked field. Corey Heim in the 5 for Tricon, Chase Elliott in the 7 for Spire, Ryan Newman in the 25 for Colleague, Halmar Friesen with the 62 in Seabell, Shane Van Gisbergen in the 71 for Spire, and Carson Hocevar in the 77 for Spire. So Spire has a pretty loaded roster. So I got this right. It's the Faith Fest 250 for the truck race, 250 laps. I don't think I got the stages on my end. This shows how damn tired I was because I do all of this stuff after. But I have the stage links on my end here, so I can read them anyway. 70, 70, 110 is the stage lengths when it comes to the truck race on Saturday. And that will be at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1 and Fox 1 and NRN. Chandler Smith, the most recent winner. North Wilkesboro's Cup race, the Window World 450 laps. That one will be 80, and I believe 185 is the second stage, ends on 265, and then I think 185 for the last stage. I'm mathing on the fly, so let me know if I'm wrong on that one, but I think I'm right. That one will start at 7 p.m. Eastern time on TNT and PRN. The defending winner of the last points race here was Jeff Gordon in 1996. So, Danny, you alluded to it earlier. Like it was an interesting one for sure. Danny, you also have the Vorcast for this week, so I'll pop that on the screen and let's see what we got.
Well, hopefully weather's not too bad. I sound like I'm sick or anything. I got a text from my mom saying that she's been watching us and she's about to head out for a night. But she said I sound like my allergies are bothering me. She said I'm kind of flimmy like Adam Sandler. So that's funny. Thanks for the text, Mom. Love you. But as for the weather, this comes in from our meteorologist friend Jeff Vorick. Typical foothills weather holds true in North Wilkesboro this weekend. Friday will be very hot with slim at best rain conditions. Stay well hydrated and take it easy. The weekend brings thunderstorm chances at times with a cold front and disturbed weather pattern moving into the region. Saturday brings scattered storms, especially after the conclusion of the truck race into Saturday night, as the best ingredients in the mid-upper levels will move in by then. Sunday features hit or miss storms at times, but those will just come with the heat of the day. Thankfully, wet weather tires are available to speed up the process, of course, once lightning is out of the area. And he says he'll be updating on X, and he will be there on Sunday. So follow Jeff on Twitter if you're not already, because he's constantly sending out new updates for the weekend as they come out.
Very, very nice. What isn't nice for the three of us is the pick points. Chat at 362. We kept the same positions. We just fell back points wise. 25 points back to me, 29. Danny and Eric are tied. Danny, you have the tiebreaker because you have more both cup and overall wins than Eric.
So right now we're the three of us are in the basement. Me and Eric are on the same couch together. I'm on the more comfy seat of the couch. Eric's sitting in the one that's like worn, like super worn in and no longer feels comfortable anymore. And Jarrett, you're just up grabbing a drink at this point.
Yeah, I'm just getting a beer before I end up probably having to take Eric's seat after this week, knowing the luck that we're all having this year. Chat's on a roll right now.
Chat is in the master bedroom at the top.
Are you kidding me? They have a sky room at this point. They're just
penthouse.
Yeah. So that means that heading on into Wilkesboro, Eric, you start us off. Who's going to win the truck race?
This is a stacked truck series field. I mean, if Jared read off some of the names of people who are in this race, but I mean, Ryan Newman in a Ram truck is going to be fun to follow. Carson Hocevar in the 77, very enticing pick, very enticing. Chase Elliott in the 7.
He's doing like triple duty this weekend, running late model, running truck, running cup.
But y'all know what time it is. I gotta go Corey Heim, man. If he's in the race in a competitive truck, I gotta take him. Corey Heim, that's my pick.
Which one is he in again? I kind of forgot that.
The 5.
The 5. Okay, that's why. Because on the actual official entry list on the NASCAR website, it just says I in parentheses. It didn't actually have a driver listed there, so I didn't know that was Corey Heim.
Remember when they had the meme? E-I.
Yeah.
Sports.
Honestly, you taking him makes it even more harder because I wrote like 4 names down. It's like I got regular guys I think could still prevail. I got some wild cards.
I didn't even mention Christopher Bell. Forgot about him for a second there.
But you know what? We're on a short track. I feel like he's going to have more of an edge. I'm going to go with Carson Hocevar.
All right. So you got my first and second, which means I am going to stick with who originally, before we had all of these people announced to be in this race, was going to be my number 1 pick, turned to number 3. I'm going to go Lane Riggs. I think that he's the only one that can, I mean, he was the only one kind of last year that could keep up with Corey Heim at points. So he's only gotten better this year. I think he extends his lead, gets the win.
Solid. Chat seems to be trending Christopher Bell on this one.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like.
So I'm going to give him Christopher Bell. Even though I've seen a few for Chase Elliott, I'm seeing way more for Christopher Bell.
No Caden Honeycutt picks. That's surprising.
I mean, he's good for a second place finish.
And no Chase Elliott pick.
That surprised me. Yeah.
No Shane Van Gisbergen pick either. He's in the 71.
He'll probably be top 10, I would think. All right. Who's going to suck in the cup race?
Oh, that's right. I start. My bad. No, I forgot.
I forgot how this works when you're bad.
I love how we're all surprised when we're in the basement at different points. We're like, shoot, it's me this week.
I feel like I'm going to go with the 2311 guy, and I hate to pick on this dude because people think I pick on him, but he's been really good lately. But I think he falls back down to earth. That's Riley Herbst.
I hate to pick on low-hanging fruit too, but I just got to go with Connor Zilish on this one.
Low-hanging fruit. The fruit is buried at this point. I'm gonna go. I'm actually gonna go Alex Bowman on this one. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced of Chevy and Hendrick at these short tracks yet, especially the 48 team.
They didn't advance into the challenge. They really lost anything they were trying to work for this season.
And it looked like, I mean, I've seen a bunch of others, but there were a lot of 88s in there.
I was going to say they're going Noah Gragson, which was also low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, the Noah really come in. I think they're just trying to be different, sort of taking Noah instead of Connor.
Yeah, we'll give him Noah then. No, there's no points, and we know they're not going to pick either of them. So who's the dark horse this week?
I'll say Ryan Preece. I'm going to triple down on my prediction that Preece is going to, climb up the points these next few weeks.
Even though I said I think he's probably not going to make the chase, I'm still going to go at this stage in his career, Brad Keselowski as the underdog.
All right. So we're all on the Ford train. I'll stick with you guys on it, but I think this guy, he's done well at mile and shorter tracks before. And last year, nearly had a win or two at different points. I'll say Josh Berry. I think he might surprise some people.
It's a very good pick. Very good underdog pick.
That's the underdog thing about. He's got a lot to fight for. He's got to figure out what he can do next year.
Let's see. Oh, hi. Sorry. Wrist just got home.
Hi.
Wrist just got home. So I'm like, hi. Who they got? I wasn't looking. And on my end, the chat moves slower.
SVG. Pretty clearly SVG.
All right.
They're banking on him getting some extra seat time going to help him this weekend, which could be fair.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. Well, another moment of truth, guys.
I think he did good at Martinsville. I think he finished like 11th there too, so that's actually not a bad one.
He did.
Who wins the Cup race this week?
I think it's between two guys who are also going to be battling for the in-season challenge win, or the in-season challenge semifinal round, I should say. Blaney versus Bell. I'll take Ryan Blaney to go back-to-back.
Okay.
That was my number one. So I'll go with someone who's been very good at short tracks and a lot of other tracks this season, Ty Gibbs.
Danny he cashed in on the Ty Gibbs one at Bristol.
Yeah, that one I felt way more confident. I literally cashed in. I put some money on the line on that one. I'm not doing that for this one though.
He'd been on that one for weeks leading up to it.
Well, I got my number one still on the board, so I'm going to take him because we're back to tracks that are normal and driver oriented with where they're pretty good at. I'm going to go Denny Hamlin.
I think you just decided for a chat because they were very split on 20 and 11. I think you're going to see them go back to back. Christopher Bell, most likely.
Yeah, I think they're going for a Bell, Christopher David Bell weekend sweep.
Yep, here come all the 20s. The 11th are changing the 20s. They took Christopher Bell.
Did anyone else, if you don't listen closely to that commercial, it almost sounds like because of the echo, it's like that check was for $1 billion at times. I've always it might be a gazillion. Terrible. It's for $1 gazillion.
Make it a godzillion.
Godzillion.
Yeah.
It's just a Godzilla roar in the distance.
Make it infinity
and beyond. All right. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. So we got all those picks in. We'll put those up on X on Saturday and Sunday. And now I guess before we go to the Super Chat cooldown lap, before I know a lot of you guys might be heading off to bed, we are on Danny's channel on July 22nd. Wednesday. We are in the second half of July, guys. This year is flying by, but 8 p.m. Eastern time, talking about the triumphant return to the points paying schedule for North Wilkesboro. Should be a lot of fun. By the way, I keep forgetting to mention it, but Eric, you remember how you had a little bit of a duel with an old Guy Tibbs in fantasy?
I was hoping you weren't going to bring this up.
Oh.
Guy Tibbs is leading the fantasy point. And I got to say, this year, way different than last year. I realized that we haven't shouted them out at all for like months. Look at how many of them are within 100 points.
So what did Eric say? He was going to beat Guy Tibbs?
He was going to get up there and pass and beat Guy Tibbs in the
so for you to
points.
do that, you've got to literally win it all now.
I think it was because I think the prediction was I forgot to enter my lineup the first week. So I was starting the year down one race.
And so that inspired me to say that Jarrett's wife would end up beating you as well, because she also started a week behind.
Yes. And right now, Eric is 86 with 35.15, and Riss is 73rd with 36.98.
So right now, I've got a prediction going good for me there.
Riss
has been great.
I'm proud of Riss. I don't know if she's watching right now or listening through the door, but she has locked the fuck in. I mean, she had a bad week this past week just because she wasn't able to change her lineup because she was busy with some stuff, but like during the race. But like when I was at Chicagoland, she was like, hey, by the way, like this is my lineup I had this week. I'm just like, Jesus, I didn't even have to, because so first few weeks she'd ask who was good. Now she's just like, hey, this looks good. This looks good. Statistically, the last few years, I'm like, she is locked in, man.
That's good. I will say, caution Guy Tibbs and others that, he's still got half the season to go. And if you've burned all your Denny Hamlin picks already.
I did.
Well, it resets in the chase.
It does?
You get 5 picks for drivers in the chase. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I didn't know that.
Shit. Man, Eric, you're just going to pick Denny the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think I still have 4 or 5 Denny picks. I'm just going to pick him the rest of these next 5 weeks.
Yeah,
I wish I should. Which of these are? I mean, he'll probably be good. These aren't. But guess I should have read the fine print. I should have read the rules.
Well, I was curious where I'm at. I'm in 47th in the league right now.
25th, 25. I think I finished 3rd this week with Atlanta. Like I nailed my predictions.
Let's see where Claudia is. Oh my gosh, I'm 47. Claudia's 48. She's just going right along with me. We're 2 points apart.
I can't. Nice. This.
I don't help her with her picks. She don't help me with mine. We just pick them, and then we say after we picked, who'd you get? I got these guys. Who'd you get?
I've been playing it so conservative, literally saving a bunch of my Hamlin picks and my Blaney picks and my Bell picks for the final 10 weeks. I had no idea. This is devastating.
Yeah, to be fair, that's what I did last year.
39.57. Claudia's 39.55. That's crazy.
Jeez. Yeah, so right. I won't show you who they are, but like I actually back before Nashville mapped out the rest of my year, and I change it based on like who I have to sub in and out and stuff like that. Like I went full like for every time I struggle in fantasy football, like all of that goes into me locking in with the NASCAR one. I want to be on this line by the end of the year.
I mean, you can give yourself an honorable mention.
I'm just saying, Guy Tibbs, you better not choke now, because now I'm at a huge disadvantage. I'm at a knowing the rules disadvantage.
Well, if I give myself an honorable mention, there are 4 other people that have been doing better than me that deserve to be on there more. So I'm going to earn it, or I'm just not going to be on there. But let's go to the Super Chat cooldown lap, because it's been a long night. We got this one here. Podcast isn't late till 1 minute past the hour, guys. Yeah, we started on time. Actually, we started before. It was 6:59 when we started.
Someone purposely accelerates their clock on their machine to be 1 minute past, and they can say we're late.
Real quick, what was the poll that Indy Carson put? Was it Sunday nights versus Saturday nights? I think it was.
Yeah.
Because I'll put it in here for now. Sunday nights was it 6 Eastern, and Saturday nights was it 7:30. 8 Eastern. Okay, we'll do that. And I'll just put poll prefer. All right, so there you go. We'll pull that the rest of the way. That way I'm a man of my word on that one. Mikey, can we have a conversation about Logano? He hasn't looked good since 2022 and is consistently outrun by his teammates. He also never won a crown jewel on a skill track, benefited from a bad format. And then a mouse emoji.
It's a fair conversation.
It's weird.
I think this year's format is putting a spotlight on a lot of people who have struggled before. Can't wait to see Elliott race 4 times this weekend. Hopefully he at least gets 2 wins. Should know the track well by Sunday. I think there's multiple Cars Tour races.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And levels there. Yeah, if anyone should know the track pretty well this weekend, it's going to be Chase Elliott. Another insane Joey stat. He has more finishes of 30th or worse than top 5s and top 10s combined, 7-6.
Wow.
Let's see. Went fishing today with a friend and got deuced on by a bird on 2 separate occasions. Glad I have NWP to help me feel clean again. Did buy a lotto tick. So I've had that happen more than once. I remember when I was like 5, I was like playing out in the area near the condo I lived in at the time. And I like look up and there's a bunch of crows in a tree. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Cause I was a weird kid that got really fascinated with birds. And then I like look down. Next thing I know, my shoulder's really warm.
I've never been pooped on by a bird while fishing, but I have been pooped on by a largemouth bass before. That was interesting. And then I'm trying to go the most PG way to say this, but there was me and my buddy Mark were fishing for big stripers.
Did you get splooged on?
One, when you put them beside each other for a picture, because we had 2 of them, I guess it triggered something in one's brain, and it decided it's time to make babies.
When a mommy's striper and a daddy's striper get caught by Danny B.
That's the most PG way to say what happened.
I mean, I guess it's better to have that from a striper than a stripper.
At least I wasn't the one holding them. Mark was the one who was holding those fish.
Atlanta has been redeveloped twice since by SMI. 2 wins. Texas, Bristol rework, 2 fails. North Wilkesboro win. Just don't F with Dover. I won't say the last part, but you know. Where's the World Series trophy, buddy? It's the only Wisconsin team I can say that to. I'll be honest. So I'm gonna take it where I can. Indy Carson here says, "Hey, NWP chat. Sorry, I forgot to suggest to pick Ryan Blaney last Wednesday. Since nobody picked him, I thought about him all week, even before last Wednesday's show, but missed putting the 12 in the chat pick." Pretty good pick. B. Smell says, "I'm so sick and tired of races on Sunday nights when there's no holiday on the corresponding Monday. I don't even think it serves fans at the track. It can still be amazingly humid at night in the South." That is true. I mean, like I said, I went for a run after dark yesterday and it was still in the 80s and it felt good, but like until the storm, like lightning at least rolled in, it was pretty humid. C-Bell keeps doing his best Mark Martin impression.
A lot of seconds.
Oh, okay. I was like, what am I missing here? Like,
not that he's jacked.
Yeah, I was about to say, is he jacked? Did Mark break his wrist at a time I didn't know about?
Christopher David Bell benches 300 pounds.
Oh man, I'm surprised that hasn't become a meme. I want to thank you all for all you do in the racing community. You guys are fantastic. Do you guys have any advice to start working in the industry? Like in the industry, I mean,
we're kind of on the outskirts.
We've made our own way to doing what we do, I guess.
I think a big part is just like, you know, at least from when I've talked to people, like for instance, that have went and worked in Charlotte, one of their big things is basically just send applications all over the place. Like I know somebody that works at Dirty Mo, but he sent applications all over the place too.
Having stuff on your resume that's relevant is definitely important. You know, I'll say this. I don't want to say too much. When I went for a job transition at the end of 2024, I went with one company in the same field of who I was last with, who I'm with now. But I did have an interview with a NASCAR team, but it did not work out for either party in the end. So having stuff that's relevant and having good connections is very, very important if you're trying to work in the industry.
And definitely talk to people. too.
And it depends on what you want to do, because I feel like there's some roles, some jobs in the industry that they're very happy to hire for. Like there's
Yes.
I would say labor shortage in a lot of areas of the industry. If you're trying to get in the media, best thing I can say is just start working on your own stuff to start with, and see where it takes you. 'Cause I mean, that's how the three of us.
You'd be
do
surprised
what
in
we
the
do.
media center these days how many are actually starting to get their way doing what we're doing because they're working on their own projects now.
I mean, there frankly are very few major outlets paying a lot of money to send people to races, to cover races on the regular. There's very few, like there's a handful. And so a lot of folks that used to be part of that group are now independent. They're paying their own way. They're in there doing it their own thing, publishing their own content. It's, it's changed the economy of it a bit, but it at least still means there's a lot of opportunity for up and coming, journalists and media members to find their place. So just keep working at it.
Let's see. To be fair, Dale Earnhardt proposed an out of bounds line. He did. I disagree, though. I know his son does.
You can't do that.
Parker saying, are any of you going to be at the Coke Zero 400 in person this year? I am not.
Not this year. I went last year.
I'll be there. I will be there.
Beast of Metal, if you want to run on Sundays, go to the upper Midwest or Northeast and run in the daytime. If you must run summer night races at Southern tracks, do it on Saturdays and get TV off their asses to market them.
If you go to the far enough in the Midwest, it don't get dark till late. I was watching some guy who was chasing tornadoes yesterday. It's 10:30 p.m. here in Nashville, and he's up in Canada. It's still daylight.
Mm-hmm. That's how it was when I was up in Montana when I went there about 21 years ago. It's amazing. Hey guys, just arrived at my hotel. Looking forward to going to North Wilkesboro on Sunday. Nice. Very nice.
Have fun.
Hey, Iceberg, great video on Hocevar when I just died in your arms song in the background, since he did just listen to that song during the Atlanta. Yeah, I found the 8-bit version of it, and I was able to put it in the back without getting dinged for copyright.
How'd you avoid copyright?
Yeah, I put it in the back, had it really low. And I also might have put the clip of him singing it at the very end too.
It may be one of those things that you're fine now, but in 8 months from now, you're going to randomly get a copyright notification. But it's going to be I've already made all the money. It's fine. Because at that point, that's what happens. They can't just go in and take the money away from you. They just let you keep what you made, and they start claiming it for what you're going to get a view a day on it.
They show up to my house and it's like Larry Mack, download the Road Ranger app and give me your money. I enjoy Hocevar's shtick, but it's going to blow up in his face if he can't find a balance between playing the heel and being a dick on track. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what we got to on it. Hocevar as CM Punk. Danny, you can do this better than me.
Hocevar as CM Punk. I didn't come here to make friends. I came here to make money. Just his mentality alone is enough to root for.
Anytime it's WWE, Danny, I will always defer to you because you get it way better than me on that.
It took my brain not long to think of that promo, but I think I pretty much got the tenacity of that one.
Did y'all see, or did you talk?
See Noah kind of let the did you all see Noah kind of let the cat out of the bag?
Yeah, he's looking for a ride for next year. He said this on Dale Jr. Download. I did see that he talked a bit about that. I think, didn't he mention punching somebody has consequences?
I think it's
punched,
known,
I should say.
I guess this was the first confirmation that he doesn't have a deal for next year, but I think it's been known for a while that he's in a contract year. And I mean, just look at this last weekend. I don't think that's all Noah, but clearly whatever's going on at front row is not working out.
Does front row even try to replace him, or is that somewhere that they try to
Lane
work it? Well, yeah, I was thinking, do they even do that, or they try to make that work of RFK to get them their other charter?
The Ford pipeline is so barren. You can't let somebody, I think, like Lane Riggs possibly get lured away. You got to take advantage while you have him. Let's see. Another one here from D. Carson says, hey, NWP, which do you think Or
What
what
do
do you
you
think
think?
of my YouTube profile photo this week from IndyCar at Mid-Ohio that Bob Pockris took on July 5th? I can be seen on the left of the photo in the blue shirt with my awesome beard.
I'm just gonna
Let's
go to
see.
Bob's Twitter because it's easier to see. It
I
that
can
way.
see I can see the blue shirt, but yeah, I guess we'll have to go
Oh
to
wait,
Twitter
no,
to
I'm
see
not
the
going to
beard.
Bob's Twitter because he tweets a million things a day. I'm never going to find it.
I mean, I like the shirt. It's so pixelated on my end, though. I can't see much more than that. Sorry. Which current Cup driver do y'all think will have the least amount of fans, or has the least amount of fans, excluding Ware and the part timers?
I've never really put enough thought in this one. So, which current Cup driver do y'all think has the least amount of fans? Can't say Cody Ware.
I don't think after this we can say Zane Smith, because there's going to be the anti-Hocevar crowd that'll jump on board now, and that is sizable.
I'm like, he won a championship, and so
Yeah,
did I.
that
Because I
too.
also thought of like Cole Custer, but like he won a championship, so maybe there's some fans from his O'Reilly days. I
John
don't feel
Hunter
like
Nemechek?
Nemechek, yeah,
I don't know about
honestly,
that one. I think you'd have a decent amount.
his fans of his dad who might be still fans might be. I mean, I don't know.
I wouldn't say Riley Herbst, because the 2311, and there is a chunk of the fan base that are Toyota guys. Plus, I've seen a number of people in my comments who defend Riley Herbst pretty hard. Like,
Yeah.
hey, look, he's better than you guys said he was. So that's a tough one, because I mean, and Josh Berry has the junior connection.
Yeah,
He's got junior connection. He's got Tennessee, which is a big state. He's got the whole late model scene. But then again, are they like they want to see him do well? Or are they really a fan? What do you call that?
Who got the fewest votes on the most popular driver this year, or like all-star fan?
Do they ever show it?
No, but we don't. That's what I'm saying. Like, but like that's the metric, is like how many people are. Yeah, you might like Josh Berry, but are you going in to vote for him for those awards? Probably not, unless you're actually a fan.
Is it Ty Dillon? Maybe.
I feel like he's been around long enough that he's probably gained fans just being here.
And he's the Dylan Childress connection. I don't know.
I think on the other end, I think what we got to look at too is I think every Cup driver is going to have some kind of tax that adds on to them.
Yeah, we're not saying these guys don't have fans, because there's not a single one that you can say that about. But you know,
so
I think
maybe it is
Ty Dillon. I'd be torn between Ty Dillon and Cole Custer.
I honestly think I probably would think Custer if I had to, but I don't know. It's good,
man.
There might be a weird amount of people who are clung on to the days of Stewart Haas racing. They're like, I'm supporting that Haas guy because I like that Stewart Haas.
Idea for Carson to take the collected T-shirts and turn them into a paint scheme.
Oh, look at the baby.
Oh, who's a good puppy?
He's got a toy.
We've run long tonight, so he was clawing at my door wanting to see what was going on. He's got his little leopard.
Riss, if you're watching, let Red in. I don't know if he's still awake.
Yeah. I'm really shocked that Shugs is not in here, because, like I said, it's just me here for all this week. So I'm really shocked he's not in here.
I'm gonna text Riss and be like, "Can you let Red in? And Red can make a cameo." Let's see. Or did she? No, I think she's actually. I think she actually just. Miniberg was chilling with some friends tonight, so I think Rissa's out of the house to collect Miniberg. But I don't know. There's so many super chats. We probably should hurry him up a little bit. But maybe we'll have time for Rhett to make an appearance. Bristol Motor Speedway is my vote for Saturday night racing on Independence Day weekend. If not Daytona, just try it. Hey, I've been on that train.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
There's Shugs. What's up, Shugs?
Just spoke him into the room.
My gut feeling is, in order for 16th to win the chase, top three would have to have multiple 30th or worse finishes, have not even attempted to run the numbers. I would think that, and then 16th would have to, on top of that, probably get a good amount of wins, because you got to think the other guys that are in there are going to run pretty well. I mean, 12th on back are going to be over a full race back. So it's pretty much over for them. Like, that's why it's so imperative for Byron to get up the points. Atlanta night races, Cup, go back to Saturday night races, NASCAR. I didn't even try to watch since it was so late on my Monday workday. Wish it would have been a first win of the season driver instead. I get that. Calypso says, one might ask, why is there rain despite Jarrett's debt being gone? Guys, I don't actually control the rain. I'm just trolling y'all. And it says, we need a villain for the rain. Mother Nature is the paragon of goodness in weather, and raining out races isn't good, is it? Might as well be the villain.
Back when I did a brief period of making NASCAR skits, the Mother Nature of me just wearing a rain jacket was a very fun character to portray.
I remember that. I feel like Larson and Bell are sleeping giants waiting for that first win. Which one could you see pulling a Tony type chase run this year? This year, Christopher Bell. I think
just because he's in the best equipment.
Well, I think he's getting better too as the year's gone on. Whereas like Larson, he's good, and I think Hendrick could get there, but I need to see it first.
Yeah, I just feel like Larson, if the Chevys find that one little thing they're missing, I still feel like Larson is the leading guy. But yeah, it's hard to say.
Christopher David Bell. Seems like Dodge will return in 2027. Whether that's right or wrong, who knows? Do you guys think it's going to happen, and who will take over the 10 car? So we talked about whether or not it would happen. The 10 car, I think we talked about that last week, where it could be somebody like a Justin Haley or a Corey LaJoie, somebody with some Cup experience before then. I was literally about to super chat that I was at a concert before Eric said he was at a concert too. Keith Urban's 2 opening acts both finished before I saw the O'Reilly race. Was still going. Yeah,
that's kind of the same boat I was in.
O'Reilly, way too many wrecks with drivers who don't have smart brains in the event, with some old winner winning again. And trucks at Lime Rock, best race of the weekend was over before 6 p.m. and a driver with the first win of the season. I loved it. Truck winner had battery issues, but still won the race like Gordon at 2007 Darlington. Yeah, I mean, it was a good showing on his part. And then Coke 600 or Southern 500 with Holiday the next day are acceptable. Other Sunday night races, not important until they go back to Saturday night. We have to work Monday, you idiots, of Fox, Amazon, and TNT. Wipeout on TNT during the rain delay was so dumb. Yeah, I muted the TV.
I was back here in the office away from the TV in the living room. I kept just thinking, like, am I hearing John Cena? And I walk in there, like, oh yeah, I had no clue that John Cena doing Wipeout.
That was the most I'd watch Wipeout.
Is this what he meant by I'm leaving wrestling to go Hollywood, and that's hosting Wipeout?
Again, most I watched of Wipeout in 15 years. Trotta, Hocevar's radio saying gets interrupted by TNT ad read and Mamba 77 radio, and it's I just died in your arms tonight.
It'd be the worst time to be singing that and then like just gets like right hooked by somebody.
God. Scott, great to see you guys. Hope all is well. Question for Eric. Since you're an Astros fan and I'm a Tigers fan, which cap should Justin Verlander wear when he goes into the Hall of Fame? Being biased, man. I say Tigers.
Yeah, so it's probably going to be Tigers, and it probably should. My argument for Astros is he won 2 Cy Youngs and 2 World Series in an Astros uniform, but he was only healthy for like 5 seasons, I think. So, the Tigers drafted, developed him. He's played most of his career. Like, I think it makes sense if it's
all
Detroit,
about wherever he found the most success, in my opinion. It's like
that's the Astros.
It's like Tom Brady. Yes, he entered the Buccaneers, but he's definitely remembered more for Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, the difference would be as if he never won a Super Bowl with the Patriots and then won 2 with the Buccaneers, but he still played super long, won like 5 MVP. Like that's the difference. But
I guess
it's probably Tigers.
Aaron Rodgers probably a better example because he's always going to be remembered more as a Packer.
I'm going to accept that it's Tigers, but there's certainly an argument for Astros. And it feels like it could be 2. I wish they could do 2. I don't know, but it is what it is. Is Jarrett muted or am I muted?
He's muted.
Shit, nah. I had muted it because I was moving and coughing. I didn't unmute. Don't forget my Saturday or Sunday night race poll. I did not. It's running. Hey, Danny B, great work on the video on Kentucky Speedway. I was there last year in November. Did you stop at the Closet Ramada Hotel? Closest. I'm so fucking out of it tonight.
No, I did not. I did not stop there. We stayed in a Quality Inn in Carrollton, Kentucky.
I guess there was a lot of Kentucky Speedway memorabilia in there, and the race teams used to stay there. Ooh. So nice. Eric, nice t-shirt. What driver or racing event are you wearing tonight? What music artist concert did you go see this past Saturday?
It was a Young the Giant with Cold War Kids opening. My wife's a big Young the Giant fan. They're good. It was a good show. It was a good time. Cold War Kids. Wasn't as familiar with Cold War Kids. I knew a couple of their hits. They were fun. I enjoyed them as an opening act.
Nice. Remember, kids, 6-7 is code for Heim time. That's true.
If you ever see this, it means we're big Corey Heim fans.
If NASCAR goes to England, we need Richard Hammond to be the Grand Marshal. He flat out said he likes NASCAR better than F1. Hell yeah. If NASCAR went to CTMP, I would 100% go. I would love to see that race. Race on Isla Cruces. Is that how you say it? The island of Davy Jones. Calypso's love. Sure. Release the Kraken. Do you fear death? Bill Nighy. Circuit, Gilles Villeneuve, or Silverstone would be fire. Argentina is Jimmy Johnson when it comes to World Cup soccer. They have a lucky horseshoe up their ass. Hey, you can't kick me out. I have a right to talk about other sports. I thought this was America. Hey, you called it the right word of soccer, so
yeah,
you're cool in our book.
You passed the vibe test.
Yeah. Please let me back in the car. Good follow-up. And thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Larson fan here. What's the super chat going rate to earn a guest spot on the show the week after my birthday on September 25th? Keep it up, guys. We probably shouldn't do that because I don't want to.
That's not a good idea.
We probably shouldn't go. We shouldn't be bribing guests.
We appreciate your support, even though you don't have to. But I don't think that's an offer we're willing to entertain at the moment.
Paying the Iceberg toll. Also, what modern rivalry has the best chance of giving us a finish like Craven and Busch at Darlington in 03? Well, that wasn't really a rivalry, but
no.
I feel like it had to be more of a friendly rivalry. I feel like and they have to run up front. So somebody maybe like, I guess if you have it be a rivalry up front, maybe like Denny and Larson, the way that they race each other. And
I don't know. I guess the only like real rivalries I can remember that it resulted in crazy stuff was like for a little bit the Carl and Brad Keselowski stuff. Like I guess I don't know, maybe one of them has the best chances like of doing something more like that where they're just constantly around each other.
The weekly Iceberg toll. I love Eric's t-shirt. Texas Terry was my childhood driver.
Sweet.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Good job, chat. I've thought of Bell all week since too many second place finishes. He's gonna be a threat. Why is nobody talking about Quapple being 5th in points in 3 different cars? That is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
No, that's
but they're all JRM cars, right?
Using DGM for a couple.
Okay, that was a very brief period, and they made it work out to get him back into all JRM equipment, I think.
Yeah.
Still, multiple races, even with JRM help with that team. That's pretty good.
No, he's been very solid.
Now, let's see. Please join my in-season challenge group, NWP fan. Is there like a fantasy thing for the in-season challenge?
There also, is,
it's like way too late, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know how it works now.
Got my full driver's license earlier today, celebrating by watching some NWP. Hopefully not while driving, but I like it. Congratulations.
See you on the roads.
And then thanks, Iceberg, for the short track poll. No problem. Chick-fil-A order. Oh, give me some grilled nuggies and some waffle fries. And then if I'm in the mood for a sweet treat, a vanilla milkshake.
I mean, I'm a basic portly guy, just the classic chicken sandwich and waffle fries and Coke, I guess.
Dude, I have like 5 different orders at Chick-fil-A, but probably my main is like a grilled sandwich, waffle fries, Dr. Pepper, add Colby Jack cheese to the sandwich, give it a little extra something.
I will say, if I got to change it up and get nuggets instead of the chicken sandwich, I usually like the nuggets in that buffalo sauce that they have. That buffalo sauce is really good.
It is pretty good.
Blaney on the final lap. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night. Bell's got to be
strong, and he's got to
push me to the win. Oh, that's right.
Bonnie Tyler.
That's right. The singer of that song, Bonnie Tyler, passed away.
Yeah.
So, R.I.P. Was she the one that sang it too in Shrek, or was that somebody else? Because I remember that song from Shrek. Like that's
did they use the original? I'm trying to think. Did they use the original? I don't actually know. I don't know.
That scene was goated. I remember being in this theater, 6-year-old me, just watching a giant gingerbread. Oh yes, yeah, Shrek 2. Oh, Shrek 2 was a cover. So Blue Jim is saying. I thought
we did a lot of. I think about that wrestling
cover because it sounds like the original in the movie.
That wrestling scene in the first Shrek. That's the song Carson Hocevar needs to sing next. I don't give a damn about my bad reputation. That's a Hocevar song right there.
That should be his Bristol Night Race intro song.
It should.
That was actually also that was the theme song that Ronda Rousey used while she was in WWE.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, then maybe it's too popular then. Maybe that's too on the nose.
What if he walked out playing Joan Jett with Ronda Rousey by his side? That would be a cameo and a half. A few more popped in here. Hello, NWP. How are you feeling with NASCAR going to international outside of North America? Do you think it is too much for us? I am fine with the new tracks. I think they would definitely have to slow roll it because they're nowhere near as much when it comes to money, nowhere near the NFL or Formula One or any other applicable league or racing series.
I like anything in North America. I think is cool. Even Mexico City again, I think would be cool. Beyond that, I'd love to hear them out.
Yeah. The chase lines up so well for Kyle Larson #last. It does. Same for Denny Hamlin. Could be both of them down the line.
That's true.
Is Carson the most marketable driver since Junior?
I mean, I'll still say that Chase Elliott's going to outsell. He's more overall marketable, but he is very, 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 very marketable.
Kyle Larson would be very marketable if it weren't for 2020.
What's impressive is it's all self-made. Carson, there's no Carson Hocevar Sr. True. There's no he's kind of the first to break into this and to have made the waves he's had is very impressive. Like Elliott, Earnhardt, they both had family legacies to lean on. Hocevar's starting from scratch, so I think he deserves credit for that.
By the way, and in the poll, it's 53-47 for at least what I'm seeing for Saturday nights over Sunday night. So it's pretty even.
Yeah, that's pretty tight.
Yeah, so Hector a marathon there. We will be on Danny's channel next week, July the 22nd, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Probably not going to go as long, I don't think. But we appreciate all of you guys for sticking it out with us. As for my co-host, Danny B and Eric E, I'm Jarrett Lundberg, the Iceberg, and we will see you guys very soon. Very nice shirt. Great hats.
Go Cubs, go.
Go Cubs, go. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are going to win today.
Drivers! Start your engines!
Be funny carnage, full head on them, wound up. Yeehaw, boys. Holy.
Junkyard.
There's too much time hitting people. Chill, second. gas, gotta hang tough here. Don't overdrive. Just let me do my job. 10 times. I don't care if I wreck the whole field. I'm over him. He's just a moron. That was an absolute bullshit. Not clear. Awesome. I tell you, Mama ain't raising no. What the f*** are you doing out here? People are saying, just racing like idiots. I don't care. Just let me drive.